23 years. Sir has total 50 publications to his credit, and out of which 49 are in international, one is national, and 22 in them are in H-index and 28 in I-10 index. He has completed 9 research projects and 2 are ongoing. He has guided to 15 students for their PhD, and he's consultant to Municipal Corporation Chandigarh, RV Healthcare, and Omega Test House Panchkula, Haryana. Sir is also working actively in collaboration with Chandigarh administration on environmental issues useful for the public at large. And Sir has also been awarded for the scientific innovation by CIIPP Punjab University Chandigarh and worked as coordinator in UGC Special Assistant Program. And he's the secretary of AMI Chandigarh unit and organized a number of conferences. And Sir has got 3 times Best National Award too. And apart from all this, he's a poet and a writer too, and he's been awarded with Atal Kavya Ratan Award. And today, sir is going to discuss on a very important and interesting topic as well, that is being creative. And that is the need of the hour to add new dimensions to teaching and research. We welcome you, sir, and over to you.
Thank you, Dr. Robin. Can I take a minute of hello, Dr. Robin? Are you with me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm there.
Dr. Rajat is writing very desperately. Can we just wait for a minute and you can try him contacting? And
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Just give me a minute, sir. I'm trying.
Before we start, I'm sorry for that.
No, sir. No, sir. No, no issues. I'm calling.
So till Professor Rajat in a position to join, let me formally welcome Professor Naveen Gupta. As ma'am was introducing that he is well-known researcher and has guided a number of research scholars. And what's more important is that all research scholars are having great praise for him. Over the last period of 4 to 5 years, I have observed personally the way he is leading the department and as well as the association which he has member. He has actually contributed a lot in development of the field of microbiology. Even when I was serving at the SD College and Dr. Navneet Batra is with me, he will vouch the same that he has contributed a lot in development of biotechnology, microbiology, bioinformatics, and he's role model for all of us. And when we look towards his citations, when we look towards the research methodology he is following, it is something which we all should learn, how to have the collaborative research work, how you can have the publications in reputed journals. So that's why we decided to invite him to 2 days to enlighten us that what's the situation of research today. So on behalf of Shri Aurobindo College of Commerce and Management, its faculty, and all the participants from the various universities and colleges, let me propose a vote of thanks for Professor uh, Naveen Gupta. Sir, it is great pleasure for all of us that you are here and you have kindly consented to guide us in inaugural speech. Thanks a lot, sir.
Sir, I have talked to Rajat sir. He said that he's facing some technical issues, and he said that you can go ahead with the session. In the meantime, he will join. I'm contacting him, sir.
मैडम जरा वीसी सर को कह दें उनको एनी डेस्क पे लेके ना थोड़ी हेल्प कर देंगे.
अच्छा जी सर, ठीक है.
प्लीज.
Okay, so thank you first of all, Dr. Ajay, for having such praising words for me. So I'm just trying to do my bit, whatever I can do in my area. So I'm thankful to, of course, Dr. Ajay Sharma, Dr. Robin, and whole management of Aurobindo College and all the faculty whom I don't know directly for giving me an opportunity to interact with you people. It is really my pleasure, because moreover I'm more happy because this college is from my hometown. So it is always more nostalgic when you join any program from your hometown. So I'm very happy and I'm very obliged to Dr. Ajay for giving me this opportunity. Now I'm regarding today's things which I'm going to discuss with you. It's not a very formal lecture. because I am not a technical person from commerce. Whatever I know is only that my daughter is doing CA, so I'm learning that much commerce only. But definitely, I believe that research, be it in commerce or be it in any area, the rules are very common. The things are very common what we are supposed to do. So I will like to discuss with you in next 15, 20 or 30 minutes some of the things which can be very intuitive for you, which can be just, I hope, will motivate you that how we can do good research. Let me share my screen. Okay, so there is some problem with my system. I cannot make this slide full screen, but I hope all of you are able to see. Uh, as I said, that I will just try to speak on that how we can motivate ourselves for research. And even if we are not an active researcher in the past, or we have not very much training in research, how we can do good research and how we can make ourselves more creative, because more I will be talking about that I always believe that research is all about thinking about creative things, be it research or rather I will say teaching also. So first of all, let us few slides only that why the research is necessary and why we have to motivate ourselves. So research is important for all of us. And I will say nowadays from last 10, 15 years from this, even if we forget about our interest to get a growth in our career, we have to do the research for completing our API and all that. And similarly, for the development of any institute, the research is as much as required teaching. Because I believe that the time is gone when about, I will say, 20, 25 years back, it was thought that research is only for the uh, there is some disturbance. Can other people switch off their mic, please? So
हेलो
yes, Dr. Robin.
मैडम, पार्टिसिपेंट को छोड़कर बाकी सबको म्यूट कर, या प्रेजेंटर को छोड़कर बाकियों को म्यूट कर दें.
Okay, so Dr. Robin has told me that Dr. Rajat has joined, so I am also very happy. It is always good to share a stage with a person like Dr. Rajat. Lots of things I have learned from him, and I'm sure you will also learn. So coming back to my topic, I thought the scene has changed about
So
20
we have with
years.
us Professor Rajat Sandhi from Department of Biochemistry, Punjab University, Chandigarh. We welcome you, sir.
Morning,
Rajat,
good afternoon, and thank you. I hope I am audible. This will be a test also.
Yeah, you are audible, and because I have joined just ahead of you, so I also have the opportunity to welcome you.
Thank you, Dr. Naveen, and I'll say things formally a little later. Then, thank you.
good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
So I will continue with my talk.
Over to Naveen, sir, now.
What I was saying, that things have changed in last 20, 25 years, what I have seen. When we were students, it was thought that research is only for the campus people, only the university campus people have to do the research. But it is not like that today.
Your
All
voice is audible, Naveen, sir.
hello. So I will try to be a bit louder. What I was saying, that the situation has changed in last 20, 25 years. Now it is not the scene that research is only for the campus people, only the university campus faculty have to do the research. Even it has become almost mandatory for the college faculty also. And rather, I will say, I'm very happy to see that some of the colleges are doing as good, or in some of the things they may be better than the campus faculty in some of the areas. So research is important for any institute nowadays, be it a small college, be it a commerce college, be it a scientific discipline college. So research is very much required. So similarly, then I was just talking to some of the commerce teachers, then some notion is there that commerce में research इतनी important नहीं है, but I don't agree, I'm sorry, that in commerce research is as important and as good research can be done. while I was preparing this lecture yesterday, I went through some of the articles and I saw how some beautiful things have been done in economics. And we cannot forget some of our own people doing research in commerce and going up to the Nobel Prize. Amrita Sen, all of us know. So I will say that research in commerce is as important, as attractive as in any other area. We have to drop that notion that research can be done only in the scientific disciplines. But even with all that, what I have seen that faculty members, especially at colleges, they have their own problems or they have their own thinking that why they cannot participate in research. Some of the very common one are that there is shortage of time. Often they have to take more classes than what we are doing at campus. Their teaching hours are much more. Then some of them say that they have lack of experience. They have not been trained well because they are not among their peers who are doing the research, and availability of funds. I will just try to give some tips that how we can overcome these hurdles. Now, lack of experience, I will say that you can always collaborate with other faculty members, and that should be very much encouraged at management level also. I will request Dr. Ajay also, because as a principal, that collaboration should be developed. Collaboration with the senior and junior faculty within the institute and across the institute, so that if anybody is more experienced, they can just do the collaborative work and they can do some meaningful research. And to gain more experience, I'm happy that such a large number is attending this conference or workshop today. And I've seen one has just ended yesterday. So I'm thankful to Aurobindo College and Dr. Ajay to making these efforts. At the same time, I will say that faculty should be encouraged and they should join these workshops, seminars, conferences, so that they will gain the experience, even if they don't have the active experience in the past. Then you write some articles. You write some articles related to your area of interest. Even if you are not able to do the bench research, which is in our scientific discipline, bench research is there, or in your area, some field research is there, some surveys and all that. That's what I was seeing. You can write down some articles. You can write down some review articles and all that. From my own experience, I can tell you some of the best publications I have are from the review articles, because even if you have not directly, you are not able to do research, you are not experienced, you can write these types of articles, and these articles will be of multiple use. They will give you the experience, they will give you the exposure, they will connect to you with the rest of the world who are doing the research, and sometimes some very good people will approach you, and definitely it will give you a trigger to start your research. So you can do these little things. Managing time, I very much appreciate that time is, as I said earlier, that college faculty is too much involved in teaching. It is difficult to find time. But even then, I feel if you become little smart, you can find out these time. Like you can always involve your students. Give small project to your students. Give small research-oriented assignments so that you can use their time, their energy under your mentorship, and you can come to some good conclusions and results. By this way, your direct time involvement will be reduced. At the same time, you will at least be able to start some of the research. So your students can make some working models, some posters. As I understand, in your area, lots of survey models are required for doing the research, that how these economics things are working. Then regarding funds, I understand there's some fund crunches there, but still there are lots of agencies, if you will search, which give the funds for research. Although this list is for our scientific disciplines, but I checked yesterday, even these top 4-5 which I've highlighted, they give the funds for commerce research also, and there might be many more which I'm not aware in your area, that you can get these funds. You have to take initiative, you have to write your proposals, you have to ask for the funds. And believe me, most of these government agencies, I think Dr. Rajat sits in so many meetings who decide these funds and all that. Lots of the time, enough number of applicants are not there. These fellowships, these funds are not being utilized. So if you will apply, if you will go ahead, you will definitely get these types of funds. So what I wish to say in the first part of this, that you can always do the things, you can find out the time, you can get your exposure, you can get the funds, so that maybe starting from small things and you can involve yourself into the research. So I think I'm able to motivate you a bit that to start the research at your respective institutes, at your respective colleges. Now, the next important part which I will like to share with you is that for doing any research, you have to be creative. Rather, I will say, if you see the title slide of my lecture, it is not only for research, it is teaching as well. You have to develop a creative thinking, then this research thing becomes very easy and you can think of very useful things. Like this quote by Albert Einstein says that knowledge is only what we know and what we understand. Whereas imagination embraces all the world, all the things, whatever in this universe. If you are imaginative, if you have creative thinking, if you think the things differently, it will definitely help you in doing some meaningful research. But what we will be discussing today, as I said, all of us are not born creatives. Some of us might be born creatives. Even if you are not born creative, you can become creative by specialized training, giving a training to yourself. If you follow some of the rules, if you follow some of the simple things, so all of us cannot be Einsteins. All of us cannot be the Nobel Prize winners, but we can by birth. But you can definitely train yourself by taking care of some of very small things, which I will be sharing it with you. Actually, I read all this in some book of psychology, that how we can train ourselves to be creative. I was just teaching my daughter and I realized that these are beautiful things and all our young researchers need to know these small things which we ignore otherwise while doing the routine things. Am I audible better now, Dr. Robin?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay.
You're
So if we have to be, this creativity is nothing new to us. This creativity is required at all the, is available at all, is being developed at all the stages, right from our childhood to छोटे होते ब्लॉक्स जोड़ने में क्रिएटिविटी सीखते थे हम, थोड़े बड़े हुए तो स्टोरीज लिखने में हमें क्रिएटिविटी लगने लगी, then participating in science fairs and now in research. So, but I'm sorry to say, we tried more being creative maybe at the childhood, but now we are so engaged in the other part of our life, other making maybe other commitments, that we are not trying to be creative. Now let us come to the rules. The first rule of being creative is this: we have to be unsatisfied. It is little, the thing I'm saying is little in reverse. Most of the time we say we spiritually we are taught that we should be satisfied, but I will say that we have to be happy. We have not to be satisfied. So खुश रहो लेकिन संतुष्ट मत रहो. If you will become संतुष्ट, if you will become satisfied, then definitely it will just kill your creativity. It will just kill your intuitiveness to know more things. So this is very good golden rule, that always we should be zealing for some doing new things, thinking for something new. This will definitely make you creative. Then, while doing, I'm very happy today that Dr. Ajay, even it was a commerce workshop, he thought of calling two of us, myself and Dr. Rajat, from entirely different disciplines. We are directly not in contact with commerce. We are from scientific disciplines. But I will say that anybody can be creative. It is not that we cannot think about some of your commerce problems or vice versa. You cannot solve some of our problems of which are related to our scientific disciplines. So anybody can be creative. सबसे बड़ा क्रिएटिव की प्रॉब्लम हमारी यहीं से शुरू होती है. We think that we kill our creativity. We think that okay, हम साइंस वालों को ज्यादा साइंस आती है, ह्यूमैनिटीज वालों को नहीं आती. ह्यूमैनिटी वाले सोचेंगे कि हम ज्यादा फिलोसॉफिकल हैं, साइंस वाले नहीं है. So their things become difficult. Anybody can be creative, as I have shown in some of these pictures. A scientist can be creative. It is not, but it is not only that a scientist, a school teacher. And nowadays we read number of stories that how people have done some very creative thing. Maybe a housewife, maybe a child. And I have put this picture, a poet, because as Dr. Robin said, one of my hobbies to write some poetry. So if the time allows me, I will like to share with a story to make this lecture little lively and also to make you understand that how anybody can be creative. Dr. Robin, I have time now?
Yes, sir, you have.
This picture is, all of you must be familiar with this picture. This picture is of famous poet Mirza Ghalib. So often I see, as I said earlier, कि हम साइंस वाले सोचते हैं ह्यूमैनिटीज वालों को क्रिएटिविटी नहीं आती, but I will share a story with you of his life which often very much pushes me that कि उनसे ज्यादा कोई क्रिएटिव नहीं हो सकता शायद. One day, ये मिर्जा गालिब बहादुर शाह जफर के टाइम पोइट हुआ करते थे दिल्ली में. उस टाइम बहादुर शाह जफर के एक ऑफिशियल पोइट थे, उनके ऑफिशियल पोइट जो उनके होते थे, दैट वाज ज़ौक. एक दिन ज़ौक मिर्जा गालिब के घर के आगे से जा रहे थे, क्योंकि वो ऑफिशियल पोइट थे, वो उसके राजा के दरबार में से थे. वो एक पालकी में बैठ के जा रहे थे. मिर्जा गालिब उसको टोंट मार के कहता है, बना है सैका मुसाहिब फिरे है इतराता. उसका मतलब है कि बादशाह का चमचा बना हुआ है, इसलिए बड़ा इतराता हुआ घूम रहा है. कहता बना है सैका मुसाहिब फिरे है इतराता. ज़ौक उसे कहता है, तो फिर तू क्या है? इतनी बात होती है, खत्म हो जाती है. ज़ौक जाके बहादुर शाह जफर को, बादशाह को शिकायत करता है कि आज मिर्जा ने मेरे को बोला कि बना है, मैं आपका चमचा बोला. चलो जी, मीटिंग बुला ली जाती है. मीटिंग में अब सबसे पहले गालिब से बादशाह पूछते हैं, भाई आपने ज़ौक को बोला कि बना है सैका मुसाहिब फिरे है इतराता, आपने उसको मेरा चमचा बोला, ये क्या बोलने की तमीज है, ये आपने क्या किया? अब क्रिएटिविटी देखिए कैसे शुरू होती है. अब मिर्जा गालिब, ये ट्रू स्टोरी है जो मैंने लिटरेचर में पढ़ी जब व्हेन आई वाज डूइंग ग्रेजुएशन इन माय उर्दू. एंड मिर्जा गालिब कहता है कि बादशाह सलामत, मैं इसको कुछ नहीं कह रहा था. वो वहां बैठे इमीडिएटली उस एक कपलेट को कंप्लीट करता है. कहता मैं तो लिख रहा था जी, बना है सैका मुसाहिब फिरे है इतराता, वरना इस शहर में गालिब की आबरू क्या है, मेरी कोई वो नहीं इज्जत है. वो कहते जी, सारे सोचते हैं भी ये तो पूरा शेर बना दिया इसने. बादशाह कहता भी कुछ नहीं कहा इसने तो. कहते हैं नहीं सर बादशाह सलामत, अगर इसने ये शेर लिखा है तो इसको पूरा भी किया होगा. ये गजल का अगर आखिरी शेर है तो पहला शेर भी होगा. कहता सर बिल्कुल है. वहां बैठे हुए एक और कपलेट इमीडिएटली जोड़ता है, एंड यू बिलीव मी, इट इज नॉट इजी टू डू द थिंग्स. ही सेज, उसने उसको कहा था तू क्या है. वहीं बैठे वो लिखता है, हर बात पे कहता है कि तू क्या है, तुम ही कहो ये अंदाज़े गुफ्तगू क्या है. फिर सारे उसको, मिर्जा से सभी उनकी नहीं बनती होती, फिर सभी कहते हैं यार, अगर कहते बादशाह सलामत अगर दो शेर है तो पूरी गजल भी होगी. वो वहां बैठे एक स्टैम्प पर पूरी गजल लिखता है, हर बात पे कहते हो कि तू क्या है, तुम ही कहो ये अंदाज़े गुफ्तगू क्या है, रगों में दौड़ते फिरने के हम नहीं कायल, जो आंख ही से न टपके वो लहू क्या है, बना चिपके है बदन पे लहू से पैरहन, हमारी जेब को हाजते रफूगर क्या है, ब्ला 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 ब्ला. So you see how creative. Whenever I read this story, I see that anybody can be creative. So you discuss your ideas, you discuss your projects, you discuss your work, especially I will say across the field. It is not only that एक फाइनेंस वाला बंदा फाइनेंस से डिस्कस करेगा, उसको तभी सॉल्यूशन आएंगे. So you discuss it across the field. Then some of the simple rules, you have to be alert, you have to be you have to view the things with a very great attention. Definitely that will make you creative. You see small things happening, it will help to increasing your creativity. Other things we have been reading right from our childhood, we have been taught that wider reading And I'm sorry, I was told some research scholars, some young research scholars are also in the meeting today. And we have lots of research scholars in our laboratory also. We don't read. हम पढ़ते नहीं है. मैं तो अपने रिसर्च स्कॉलर्स को कहता हूँ ये ट्यूब लेके कॉरिडोर में घूमने से टेस्ट ट्यूब लेके पीएचडी नहीं होगी. And you believe me, as a rule in my laboratory, most of the times I try not to allow my research scholars. Most of the time I do not allow my research scholars to do any directly experimental work up to 12 o'clock or so in the morning. I ask them to read. So unless we cannot do research, it definitely helps in increasing our creativity. Then asking question, definitely I need not to tell much more on that. No question is silly question we have feeling last from our childhood. Then another some of the things are how to do creative thinking, which is very much required, as I'm saying, in research. We have to do it in a little systematic way. Sometimes we can generate multiple solutions to a problem. Then that is called the brainstorming. Whenever we are thinking about any project, we are thinking about any problem related to our research, we have to do some brainstorming. Now, here this brainstorming is little different. When we talk about creativity, brainstorming is not regarding our knowledge, it is brainstorming in general. So this sentence is very, very important, that brainstorming should be free from evaluation of the worth of various ideas. Brainstorming करते हुए हमें ये नहीं देखना कि ये idea silly है, applicable है या नहीं है. So this imagination should be given priorities till the ideas are exhausted. आप अगर कोई साइकोलॉजी की बुक पढ़ोगे उसमें अक्सर लोगों को you come up with any ideas. And आप लोग अभी we have shortage of time, maybe at some other platform I will share with you how this idea has helped me in gaining some of the very good projects from Chandigarh administration. So we have to, I always call my team of students out them कि जो भी idea दिमाग में आता है बोलो. You keep on writing the list. उसमें वो idea silly है या worth है, for the first step you have to forget it. Then what we have to do next, I will come to that later. Then of course related to this is we have to allow coexistence of conflicting thoughts. If somebody does not agree with you, that is very, very important, because it is very much possible that that person is right who is conflicting your idea. If I am right always, that is not going to evolve some of the things. Confliction has to be there. As we in politics also, we say that a very good opposition has to be there. So same is true in our research also. We have to allow the coexistence of conflicting thoughts. And as I said, we have to accept the non-obvious ideas. अगर हम non-obvious ideas ना accept करते, तो आज भी हम अर्थ को round ना समझते, आज भी हम उसको flat ही समझते. So we have to think the silly ideas. जो आज हमें silly लगता है, वो कल silly नहीं हो. As it again just reminding me one of my couplet. कुछ भी नवी सही नहीं होता, कुछ भी नवी गलत नहीं होता, कुछ भी नवी सही नहीं होता, बस जो हमें ना ठीक लगे, जब वो ना हो तो वो सही नहीं होता. Now we have to get feedback from others. We have to discuss it with others. And I am sorry about these young people. मैं अपने स्टूडेंट्स को कहता हूँ, वो कैंटीन में जाते हैं, समोसे की बात करेंगे, चाय की बात करेंगे, गर्लफ्रेंड की बात करेंगे, बॉयफ्रेंड की बात करेंगे, लेकिन अपने प्रोजेक्ट की बात नहीं करेंगे. तो हमें दूसरों से डिस्कशन जरूरी है. जैसे अगेन मैं ये लिख रहा था, हर एक के अपने अपने हल हैं, हर एक की अपनी अपनी मजबूरी है, जिंदगी का फलसफा समझने को सबकी कहानी सुनना जरूरी है. So if we don't listen to the other people, we cannot come to the solutions. Then let your ideas incubate. It is not कि हमें आज आइडिया आ गया, हमें उसका solution आज ही करना है. You have got some idea, you let it incubate in your mind, and believe me, I try it. Then you incubate it. When you incubate it in your mind, then it starts giving you solution. जब आप सो रहे होते हैं, जब आप नहा रहे होते हैं, जब आप खाना खा रहे होते हैं, it will आपके mind में जब वो incubate हो रहा है idea, it will keep on giving you the solutions. So we have to resist for immediate rewards. ये नहीं हो सकता कि आज आइडिया आया इसका शाम तक या एक हफ्ते में मेरे को इसका solution चाहिए. So it will rather make you more creative. When it will be incubating, it will give you hundreds and thousands of creative ideas or creative solutions to your problems. Then, of course, some very simple things, but we often forget while doing the research. We have to be self-confident, we have to be positive, and we have to feel the joy of our creation. The joy of our creation means if you have done something good, you should enjoy it. If you have done something good conclusion of your experiments, of your surveys, and here I will request the managements also, whatsoever your institute managements are, whatsoever your seniors are, whatsoever your heads or principals are, and they should just also push that. If somebody is doing good, he should be rewarded, he should be pushed for that, so that it will help you in doing the further research. Then this is again very important thing in maintaining the research, in making your thinking to be little more creative, especially for the young research scholars who are with us. I always tell my students, never ever believe your memory. ये जो अभी मैंने एक शेर सुनाया ना, हर एक का फलसफा समझने को, ये मैंने कल लिखा, लेकिन अभी लेक्चर देने से पहले मेरे सामने एक पैड है जिसपे मैंने लिखा हुआ है. आई थॉट कि लेक्चर लेते हुए अगर मैं भूल गया तो. सो यू नेवर एवर बिलीव योर मेमोरी. हम जब एक्सपेरिमेंट करते हैं, जब कोई रिसर्च वर्क करते हैं, हम सोचते हैं यार मेरे को याद है. वी डोंट मेक गुड नोट ऑफ इट. पहले तो हम उसके नोट्स बनाते ही नहीं है, और अगर बनाते हैं, यू कैन सी दिस पिक्चर, हम इस तरह से बनाते हैं, तो जो ओरिजिनल इस तरह से होता है, मेमोरी से बिल्कुल डाइवर्ट हो जाता है. नोट्स इस तरह के होने चाहिए जो राइट साइड में है, और हम इस तरह के नोट्स बनाते हैं जो कि हफ्ते बाद हमें पता ही नहीं चलता क्या है. एंड आई एम सॉरी टू सी दैट हम लोगों को अपनी मेमोरी पे इतना विश्वास है कि हम सोचते हैं हमें सब कुछ याद है, जबकि अगर आपने कभी नोटिस किया हो, एक लेबर वाला, एक सब्जी बेचने वाला, एक रिक्शा वाला, एक सब्जी बेचने वाला मेरे घर के बाहर आता है, वो जैसे ही 10 रुपए की सब्जी बेचता है, अपनी डायरी निकाल के लिख लेता है. हम नहीं लिखते. So we are become little overconfident. So never ever believe your memory. Whenever any idea comes to you, you make a clear note of it. You make a clear note of whatever, if you are doing any experiment, it will definitely help you in coming to some of the conclusions. And as we have said earlier also, we have to, in time management, depending on whatsoever assignments you have been given, we have not to wait that कि अभी तो मैं पहले अभी तो असिस्टेंट प्रोफेसर हूँ, पहले एसोसिएट प्रोफेसर बन जाऊँ, फिर रिसर्च करूंगा, फिर प्रोफेसर बन जाऊँ, फिर रिसर्च करूंगा. So you have to start it at the very right time by managing your time well. And then there are some other problems. There are some barriers to creativity, and we have to break those barriers. Again, I will say, as a researcher, we have to break it at our individual level, and our respective administrations and our managements have to help in breaking those barriers. Now, some of these barriers are, we become habitual. हमें आदत हो जाती है किसी चीज की, हम कहते हैं यार ये ऐसे ही ठीक है. So this is a big barrier in our creativity. We think that this is the only way जिस तरह से ये काम किया जा सकता है. We have to break that barrier. We have to, as we said earlier, that we have to look for some silly ideas. Only then our mind will start giving new solutions. Then perpetual, again it is related to habitual only. हम उसको routine में करते रहते हैं बस, हम उसको अलग तरीके से करने की कोशिश नहीं करते. So that, and again मैं वो बात कोट करूंगा, especially we, the more educated people, हमारे लिए ये बैरियर ज्यादा है. एक रिक्शा चलाने वाला, एक लेबरर चीजों को अलग से करने की कोशिश करता है. वो ये देखता है कि मैं चीजों को आसान तरीके से कैसे कर सकता हूं, लेकिन हम नहीं देखते. हम कहते हैं कि यार ठीक है, बस चल रहा है, या मैं जो कर रहा हूं वही ठीक है. So my request will be, these things might look very small to you, but believe me, these are the things which make a difference when you have to think creatively, when you have to involve yourself into research. Then motivation and emotional, of course, sometimes enough motivation is not there. And again, this has to come from our seniors and management, as I'm saying. They have to motivate their faculty. They have to keep them emotionally alert about the research. They have to, I'm happy that Dr. Ajay is, I have seen him working at SD College here in Chandigarh also, and now at Aurobindo College. The efforts you have to make, you have to organize the conferences, the workshop for your faculty. You have to reward them if somebody is doing good, as I have said earlier. So that will definitely give motivational and emotional support to the faculty. Then sometime, although in this area we don't have, some cultural barriers are there. Cultural barriers means कि ये females research नहीं कर सकती, ये particular एक class वाले लोग research नहीं कर सकते. So we have to come out of these barriers, and only then we can think of becoming creative. This is a little technical. I will quickly go through that. There are some stages of creativity. As I said, that there is a preparation stage, incubation, illumination, and verification. I will skip that. It is a little technical. That, as I said, that you have to incubate your idea. After some time, it will give you a solution. Then you have to verify that idea by applying your knowledge. And again, the initial part, what we said, while during incubation, you have to involve all your ideas. And then while verification, you have to apply the ideas which you think are more logical. So this is a slide again related to the brainstorming. I'm a little fast because I think I have consumed my time. So we have to do divergent thinking and convergent thinking, as this I have explained earlier also. First, we have to think of all the different ideas, and then we have to choose the ideas which are more useful to us so that we can find out some solutions to our problem. So these are some of the ideas by which we can become creative, that we can do some research, we have to discuss with others, we have to make good notes of it, we have to follow a particular procedures. Then some of the other things which you can apply. And I think most of you know it, that we have two parts of our brain. Left part of the brain works for more of the analytical things, and the right part of the brain is for the creative things or more philosophical type of things. And the best things can come out only if we involve the both parts of the brain. You believe me, because I directly know, because I write a bit of poetry, that if you develop some creative hobby, it will anything, any creative hobby, it will help in your research also. I've just put one research paper on this slide, that how this creative expression of science through poetry and other media can enrich medical science education. This is a whole research in this article has been discussed, that in your teaching also, if you inculcate some hobby into it. That's what I requested Dr. Robin in the morning also, that I will be putting some poetry into my lecture so that I can convey my things might be more easily. So you develop some hobby, whatsoever hobby, and then you will start finding some better ideas for your research also. Then definitely you find out the area which you love to do. ये अगेन कॉलेजेस में या हमारे कुछ कैंपसेस में भी ये प्रॉब्लम है. हमारी यूनिवर्सिटी में लकीली ये नहीं है कि एक पर्टिकुलर, भाई तू ये फाइनेंस पढ़ाता है तो फाइनेंस पे रिसर्च कर, तू मैनेजमेंट पे कैसे कर सकता है. सॉरी, आई डोंट नो योर एग्जैक्ट डिसिप्लिन्स, बट आई एम जस्ट ट्राइंग टू नेम सम ऑफ इट. भाई ये तू स्टैटिस्टिक्स पढ़ाता है तो तू ये जो भी आप लोगों के इकोनॉमिक्स के फील्ड होते हैं उस पर रिसर्च कैसे कर सकता है. So I will say that anybody can excel into any of the fields. So you have to see that what you love. अगर आपको पढ़ाने के लिए एक फील्ड दे भी दिया गया है जो कि शायद आपके लिए इतना आपका ड्रीम आपके लिए अच्छा ना हो, you can always do research in some other areas. So again here our managements, our seniors, our administrator have to see that they have to. जैसे हमें पंजाब यूनिवर्सिटी में हमसे कोई नहीं पूछता कि मैं किस एरिया में रिसर्च कर रहा हूँ, हमें टोटली इंडिपेंडेंस है. मेरे को माइक्रोबायोलॉजी में रहते हुए बायोकेमिस्ट्री में काम करना है तो नो प्रॉब्लम, और वाइस वर्सा. सो दैट डेफिनेटली हेल्प्स. एंड इन द लास्ट कोट आई विल लाइक टू कोट, आई वाज जस्ट राइटिंग, जो वो, लेकिन ये चीज हम स्कूल से शुरू हो जाते हैं. आई वाज जस्ट राइटिंग इन पंजाबी, अज दी सिक्ख्या नीति सदका हर बच्चे दा बचपन बिन बचपन लंघी जांदा है, रोज सवेरे कुप हनेरे हर एक बच्चा गल विच बोतल सिर ते बस्ता टंगी जांदा है. मैं कहना बच्चा कर पढ़ाइयां टंगिया रह क्लासां विच, ਉਹ ਮਾਸੂਮ ਪੜ੍ਹਨਾ ਚਾਹੁੰਦਾ ਤਿਤਲੀ ਦੇ ਰੰਗਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਕਿਤਾਬਾਂ ਤੋਂ ਆਜ਼ਾਦੀ ਮੰਗੀ ਜਾਂਦਾ ਹੈ। So this is, although this quote is for school students, but I think this is true for our faculty also, that we should not be forced to work in a particular area. कुछ मैं रिसर्च इंस्टीट्यूट्स को जानता हूं जिनमें कहा जाता है कि यही प्रोजेक्ट पे काम करो, then definitely it will kill your creativity. And my last slide, last but not the least, I take it as a shlok of Gita, that you have to do the things out of your heart. दिमाग से काम कर, अकेले दिमाग से काम करने से definitely you cannot achieve your things. You have to involve your heart into the things. You have to involve your heart into your thinking, in your research. Then there is no force who can stop you in achieving. Although this quote is from the very popular quote from one of the movies, but I see that there's a very important quote which you can apply in whole of your research and your conduct, in your any teaching and all that, anything you do. If you do the things out of heart, nobody can stop you achieving. So this is what I have to say, that if you will try, if you will do, be careful about these little things, maybe some more which I'm not able to include, definitely it will make your mind creative. And once you start thinking creatively, definitely you will apply in your respective fields to do the research. So कौन कहता है दुनिया में कुछ नामुमकिन भी है, कौन कहता है आसमां में सुराख नहीं होता, एक पत्थर तो तबीयत से उछालो यार. So if you will do the things in a little different way, it will definitely help to excel you in your research. So that's what I had to say. Some of the things which at least I have experienced, which I apply in my area, and I request you to think about these things so that if you can become more creative and you can do some meaningful research out of it. So thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. The time is not permitting us. Otherwise, we want to, listen more and more from your enriched experience that you were sharing, and with your poetry, and it's very interesting, sir. So thank you for your words of wisdom and highlighting the various challenges which are being faced by the new faculty members in the research, and emphasizing on the collaboration with the other faculty members involving students in the research. And yes, the theme of your lecture today, that is how to be creative and creative. And the key to creativity is that we should never be satisfied. We should always be alert. We should have a habit of wider reading. We should have more brainstorming. So thank you, sir, for your words of wisdom. And surely we would like to listen in some future time as well. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.
Now we have amongst us Professor Rajat Sandhi, Department of Biochemistry, Punjab University, Chandigarh. We welcome you, sir. Sir is having 22 years of teaching and research experience. Sir is having 150 publications to his credit and 2,700 citations. Uh, Sir is editor of Punjab University Research Journal in Science and also the member of editorial board, that is World Journal of Diabetes and Toxicology International. Sir has guided to 22 candidates for their PhD, and the 3 students have completed their postdoctoral under his supervision. And he is a member of the bodies like International Brain Research Organization, Indian Academy of Neurosciences, Society for Neurochemistry, Society of Biological Chemists, Indian Biophysical Society, and Society for Mitochondrial Research and Medicine India. And as far as the administrative responsibilities are being concerned, sir is the chairperson of Department of Biochemistry from 2011 to 2014, and also the coordinator of Institute of Forensic
I
Science.
think we can leave the rest introduction. We can straight away get to the topic because in the interest of time, we can save time. Thank you.
Yes,
I
sir.
would say
Yes,
thank
sir.
you,
You're welcome.
Dr.
Welcome.
Robin, for generous introduction. And I would thank Dr. Ajay Sharma for inviting us to this FDP program. And I would say this is my first, you can say, academic interaction with the college.
Yes, sir.
And Dr. Naveen had set the pace for me. And I wanted Dr. Naveen to come first because he wanted to talk about creativity, and I wanted to take creativity further to the next part of the story.
Yes.
And although the time is short, I will try to give you a flavor of what I want to discuss with you. And Dr. Naveen had said we all have to be creative. And one way of looking at creativity is we are expected to publish as teachers, whether we are in university, whether we are in college. And I don't find any demarcation now in colleges and universities across country. And I would say colleges are considered to be part of it. We consider university in terms of meta university, where college is an integral part of the campuses. And I have titled my talk as Digital Resources for Researchers. So I will talk about two resources or technologies that we can take benefit. And as far as the research is concerned, I'll touch upon reference management, and other thing I'll talk about is plagiarism. If people are aware of things, I can skip some of the things. You can all give me a feedback on what is the things that you would like to discuss. So I'll give you a flavor of what I have, because the time is short. So I'd like to discuss more in the shortest period of time. So let me share my slides with you. Is my slide visible?
Yes, sir, it's visible.
Okay. So I titled my talk as Digital Tools for Researchers. And the first and foremost thing I would like to say here is you've seen things have changed from year 2006 onwards. We all started getting good salaries. And the idea behind giving us good salaries was to bring best and the brightest mind to academia. And the best and brightest would only come if you are able to pay them well. You want to prevent moonlighting. People would not. The government wanted people not to get into other side work. For example, people would go for tuitions just to make up for money, and that's the reason the salary packages were enhanced. So it was just not enhancing, bringing best and brightest faculty to the academia, but along the side, what was the interest of the government was to bring in Indian universities in top 200. And we got something which is called as academic performance indicators. And we all know this has caused a lot of anxiety to us. So there are plus of having these academic performance indicators. There are negatives to this also. So we'll not get into that aspect of it, but we will understand that this is important in order to have accountability for each, for the academic output of each teacher. So one way we can look at the academic output is we all are expected to have communication of our research or academic activities in form of seminars, conference papers, journals, theses, books, all go into evaluating us. And one of them I would like to emphasize more today was on journal papers. And so why do we publish? Publication is not something very new. So the first journal was there in 1665. So this is the first recorded publication of a research article going back to almost, you can say, 400 years back. So journal is a primary vehicle to share our new ideas among peers. And it is also a way we can establish ownership of intellectual property. So that's what is expected from us. And it is also a means to validate our research, because the journal article goes into review, it is critiqued, and that also is validation of the quality and the contents of the research. And this is a famous saying that we always have: publish or perish. It was there before even this API business came into existence. In US or in other Western countries, people were always assessed based on publications. You would lose your job if you don't publish. So That's the reason why we call it publish or perish. And importance of publication, I said this already, academic career depends on your publication list. So I at times say it is your jantri, people or your horoscope, people will be able to judge you how much contributions you have made to academic contributions you have made. For a young PhD student, it is a passport to his employment, you can say. And sometimes you feel Robin had introduced saying that I have 150 publications. So you say you start developing a habit that okay, let me publish. Once you are in the race, or you can say once you're publishing, you want every year you are having this hunger of publishing more. So something is better than nothing. That's another thing that we say. And but at the same time you have to avoid publishing crap. So trash research is also published, and this trash publications have come as a result of this API. People would go publish without caring for it. Might damage them more than giving them a benefit. It also damages the institution from where it is published. So you all have to have a strategic plan, what to publish, where to publish, at what pace, and with whom. So all these are important, and there is an emphasis now on ethics as far as publication is concerned. And one more benefit of publication is we know institutions get better accreditation based on your publication scores. So the what faculty contributes in terms of publications also reflect in institute's performance. And I like this cartoon. This cartoon, somebody gave me a paper calendar with this cartoon on there. No,
Sir, your slides are not moving.
oh God.
So please check.
So which slide do you see?
Sir, the first one only.
Oh God. Oh God. I'm sorry.
No issue, sir.
So can you see this way better or no?
Yes, sir. Now it's moving.
I
Yes,
think
sir.
I'll keep it like this then. Huh?
Yes,
Maybe
yes.
the way Dr. Naveen had done.
Yes,
So
sir.
I was talking about importance of publications.
Yes, sir.
And then this is the cartoon I was showing. I said this, somebody gave me a table calendar in 88 or 87 saying, which said no job is finished until the paperwork is done. So in academic also, you need to publish, and your publication is in a way immortalizing your work. And documentation, I would say, is important. Even I've seen a newsletter coming from your college, very impressive, trying to tabulate everything that is there. So it's a time where we need to document everything that is done. Anyway, then when you publish, how do you select a journal or a medium where you publish? The most important way we decide where to publish is we look at impact factor. The higher the impact factor, I will like to publish there. I will talk about what do we mean by the word impact factor. We also look at reputation of the journal and access to the target audience. If I'm publishing somewhere, I would like this article to be circulated to a larger audience and the right audience. Overall editorial standard, what kind of people are there who make the editorial board? And is the journal caring about the quality also? Publication speed. It is important that what I have published today is published in a timely manner. If one article is accepted today, if it appears after 2 years, it has no meaning because it's not reaching to the audience timely. International coverage. If an article has international coverage, it is better. And there are other few factors that would be less important. For example, your experience as a referee in the journal would also be important. You know how efficient the editor decides, track record of the journal, quality and color of illustrations, service elements, and few other things. And talking about some of the terms, I will say I talked about impact factor. So impact factor is a term that was invented, or you can say coined in 1965 by Eugene Garfield, and he wanted a parameter to assess the quality of journals, and he proposed a term called impact factor. And I will try to explain that using a mathematical equation which is indicated here, although you may not be able to see because of the font size in the slide. So I would say what you do is, let's say this is to year 2020. I count the number of citations that have appeared in 2020. of the articles that were published in 19 and 18. So preceding 2 years, you will see how many articles were published. Let's say the articles published were 350. Of those 350 articles, in 2020, there have been 700 citations. So the impact factor becomes 2. So the more the citations of the paper, the better would be the impact factor of the journal also. So if I'm publishing an article in a journal which has an impact factor of 5 and my citations of that article reach 10, that means I am even helping the journal to improve the quality. But if my citations go down, I'm bringing down the quality of the journal. So it's one of the parameters to assess quality of the journal. And this is what UGC is also asking when we are scoring the articles. We are scoring, giving the API marks based on impact factors. And you know there are different scales based on the impact factor of a journal. And I would say a word of caution. Sometimes journals write an impact factor on the top of the journal. Volume 1, number 1, impact factor 7. If this is the formula for calculating impact factor, do you think the journal with volume 1, number 1 can have an impact factor of 7? Not possible. So be careful when you're publishing in such journals. Some universities give you marks, but at times you can be in trouble because it cannot have any impact factor. That is the reason why UGC said we will only calculate impact factor what is given by Thomson-Reuters. Thomson-Reuters is the one where this guy Garfield was working, and he gave this concept of impact factors. Then there are other metrics also that we use for checking the quality, and these are for author level metrics. So journal level metrics was impact factor. Author level metrics is H index and I10 index. I'll explain these two. And so if you want to look at citations, the easy source for that is Google Scholar. And Scopus can tell you citations per articles. But nowadays, people are encouraging to use other metrics. For example, one of them is called alt metrics. Alt metrics does not look at only citations. It looks as how many times your article has been tweeted, how many times your article has gone to the news, and this is considered nowadays a better metrics. So talking about what is H index, if anybody doesn't understand, I think I would be happy to be interrupted, but maybe we can discuss at the end because we are online mode, so there might be difficulty. So H is, let's say I have 10 publications, and out of that, my 6 publications have citations more than 6. So my H index becomes 6. So number of publications that crosses threshold. For example, this y-axis is indicating citations, and this x-axis is indicating number of papers, where the points from both the scales they will match would be called my H index. So H would be citations, number of articles that have reached a certain threshold of citations would be called as H index. So I will illustrate this with one of the pictures. If you see, this is the author from Punjab University, where I've picked up his H index as 47. 47 means his 47 papers have been cited 47 times. So if he may have published 200 papers, so that means 47 papers have crossed a threshold of 47. So this is a way to know the, you can say, metrics for assessing an author. There is another metrics that we use. It is called as I10 index. I10 index is a metrics introduced by Google Scholar, and in the year 2011, it looks at how many of your articles have more than 10 citations. So let's say somebody has 200 articles, and out of that 100 articles cross citation of 10. So his I10 index would become 100. So I'll go back to the same picture, And I will show you this picture and say I-10 index. This is automatically calculated by Google Scholar. And in this particular case, I may not be able to read it that precisely. I-10 index is 150 or maybe 200 in this particular case. Anyway, talking about, I said there's a new term that we have now called alt metrics. Look at this. This is another author level metrics. And this alt metric score for a particular author is 2913. So it doesn't only look at citations, it looks as news outlets that have discussed your research, 59 blogs, this many number of tweets, Webio users, Facebook pages, Wikipedia pages, Google users, one research highlight platform, and looks at all kinds of ways your article has been discussed. And this is considered nowadays a better metrics than talking about any of these H index, I-10 index, and other metrics. And this is one publication which I will highlight. Remdesivir is one of the drugs used for COVID. You can see the alt metric score for this is 12,990. So news would have covered it, Facebook would have covered it, these tweets would have covered it, and other news items would have covered it. So this is a best parameter to look at research output from a faculty. This is something very new. So I wanted to introduce this to you so that you are aware that this could be a new way of assessing the research performance of a faculty member. And talking about research article, we know research article, there is title, abstract, keywords. This is the body of the article, which includes introduction, methods, results and discussion, conclusion, acknowledgement, references, and supplementary data. And I would like to talk about this particular figure. This talks about how do we build the article. So everybody has her own way of doing this. My way is also doing this, that I always would look at my data first. Figures and tables are first thing that I like to finalize. Then I might go in any order. I might like to write abstracts, look at title, or maybe write an introduction. So, but the way it is said is the best way to do is first have your data compiled, then write the methods, results, discussion, then conclusions and introduction. Last comes your title, abstracts, and keywords. That's the way people say you should be building your manuscript. And title is the most important thing because or you can say this is the selling point of the article, because it is which will attract the most attention for the editor also, who is going to look at this article, and it is trying to give you gist of the whole paper that you're writing. And so I'll just take one example here. Normally we don't write articles with jargons, but sometimes we can use for review articles we can use jargons also. In this particular case, they've used a jargon or a sentence from a song. Blood on the Tracks is a sentence from or a title of a English song that have been picked for writing an article. The answer is Blowing in the Wind. This is also from a song, but normally we don't use title or jargons in the title. The best way to write a title would be, I would say, is it should be short, 10 to 12 words, trying to give the best meaning in the shortest words. Then comes abstract, concise summary of your complete article. Or you can say this is where the reviewer or the editor takes the second impression of your article. If you don't write a title well, you don't write your introduction well, you don't write your abstract or summary well, it's chances that it will be rejected by the editor at the first instance. And this is done in past tense, shortest 150 words. That is the reason we say it has to be done at the end, because it is an important USP of your paper, and it should have a clear purpose, results of the study, significance of the study, and main conclusion. Then introduction, again 1.5 page, 2 page maximum. Most relevant information has to be provided in this. You cannot cover all the review of literature into this. it has to be short, trying to give again the reviewer message why your study is relevant. Then methods, again reproducing the methodology that has been used for publishing or carrying out the study. Then results, you have to put results in a logical manner, in a systematic manner, so that the story, it looks like you are building up the story. Then comes the presentation of your data. Nowadays, we have infographics now used for making your data look more interesting. And there's a book by one of the authors saying information is beautiful. Look at this graph, could have been presented in a very simple way. It could have been done in a table, but the kind of meaning it can give you, which may not be possible if you don't use these tools of presenting your data. So even when these NAC accreditations come, you use these infographics to reveal best things that you want to reveal using these the way you present your data. And you have to explain your data, use the right kind of stats. So I'm just kind of rushing through this because my main thing that I want to talk to you would come in a few minutes from now. And discussion, you have to bring in what is relevant with your study, and then conclude with what is the carry home message of the article. I would like to talk about this. Author listing is important because this is also has an ethical issues also. Include only authors that have made intellectual contributions to the research and who can publicly defend the data, because if something goes wrong, they are all the responsibility. You cannot run away from responsibility if something goes with the data or some questions are raised on the data in the papers. And authors of order of the authors vary from discipline to discipline. Some disciplines write authors in alphabetical manners. In sciences, in biological sciences, we write the first author is the one who has done the work. Last author is the one that is the corresponding author. So this varies from discipline to discipline. But what is more important is only include authors that have made contributions to this. Last is the references. You have to put references that have been published. So now coming to what I wanted to talk to you is tools that we can use for carrying out research. And one of the two tools that I will be talking is, one of them is called Reference Manager. If you know, I think when we were students, when we were writing a bibliography for the thesis, we will make small slips where we'll write each reference with hand, and then we'll collect, let's say, 400 slips with single reference on one slip. And then after the thesis is written, we will manually collate all the references, verify it from the text, and then alphabetically arrange that. It used to be the most difficult thing, and that's where the examiner will always look at and find mistakes in the thesis. But nowadays, what we have is reference managers. Reference managers are useful for both students, PhD students, anybody writing a research article, or for any kind of information where you need to write review of literature, pick up references from the databases. So what helps with the help of reference manager is you can easily track literature. So let's say I'm interested to work on COVID. I will start picking up literature related to COVID and then take this literature to a reference manager. So now I don't have to go to the databases again. I've picked up my selected references, taken that to a reference manager. I can manage his references from there. So I can say I made my own library of references. And when I'm writing an article, when I'm writing a grant, when I'm writing a thesis, I can use the same library of reference manager and use it for academic writing. So it simplifies the process and makes it more efficient. So I will say one more thing. Let's say I publish an article in one journal today. I arrange manually the references at the end of the article in a particular format. Every journal has a different format of writing bibliography. And why this is done? To prevent people from submitting articles to many journals at one point. And so when the article is rejected by one journal, I will have to reset the citations again or bibliography again, and it would take a long time for me to fix that. With the reference managers, I will just have to click, change the bibliography in 1 second, and I will have an updated bibliography according to a particular journal that I am interested in. So it has made our lives very easy. And so I probably have told you what is the advantage of having reference manager, but nowadays reference manager have even become more advanced in the sense you can integrate them into your word processors. That means while I'm writing an article, I will insert the appropriate reference along the time when I'm even writing the text for the article. And the software that are available, I've just listed 3 of them. EndNote is a paid one. I used a lot of times EndNote, and I found it very convenient. The free ones available are Mendeley's and Zotero, and these are freely available ones. And this is a slide from Zotero, and you can see I can pick up a library, look at each reference. I can even look at abstract within my desktop, and it will look at all details related to this article when I'm using this software. And this is a picture from EndNote. I can also incorporate reference directly from web-based platforms. For example, I'm looking at an article which is there on online journal. From there, I can straight away incorporate that article into my reference manager, whether it is EndNote, Mendeley, or any other software. So it makes life much more easier. I don't have to type the reference manually. I have to just copy a reference, insert the reference into my word processor, makes life much easier. This is the third reference manager that I was talking, Mendeley. And this, you can see there would be an icon which would come on the word with reference manager, and you can click on this. It says insert reference, or it even says insert EndNote. So I can even integrate my EndNote into the reference into the word and make my life easier. So reference manager, I would say, have made life much easier for researchers, and I would advocate anybody writing an article, initial hiccups to use these managers, and there might be initial hiccups, but eventually you will find this makes life much easier. The second aspect comes with research is plagiarism. We know, we all hear about plagiarism, and it has come from a Latin word which is plagiarius, which means kidnapper, and there are different kinds of plagiarism. And so when you copy something from somebody, it's almost like stealing somebody's work, and that would be what is called as plagiarism. And this plagiarism is prevented by acts. All governments all across the world have their own different policies, and everything comes under this, whether it is digital work or a book or a research article, all would be covered under this. US has their own act, which is US Copyright Act, probably titled 17. Indian government has been amending this Copyright Act from 1957. The latest amendment has been in 2012. They've extended this act to include the digital environment also. Even the pictures available on net can be covered under the Copyright Act, unless these have been specifically declared that these are freely available, do not have any copyright restrictions. And fair use means if you are using some literature, some information from somebody, I should acknowledge that particular person. And how do you acknowledge? I can take limited portion of that and then cite whatever the source of that. If I don't cite the source, that would be on violation of Copyright Act. If I cite the source and take a limited portion, that would be acceptable. So I have to give, the idea is that I have to give credit to the original person who's made the first contribution. And there are different kinds of plagiarism, and one is clone. Clone means exact copy of the information. Control C contains significant portions from the original material. Find replace means what I've done is I've taken a paragraph, I've changed few words in that paragraph and then try to make it my own. Remix, some sentences, some reformatting of the sentences. I made a remix of it. Recycle, again, almost something same. I've used some, try to say the same things in newer words. Hybrid, again, somewhat kind of same. Mashup, again, mixing up things. And 404 error means I've picked up the text from there, given a wrong citation or source, that is called as 404 error. And aggregator means I've taken one thing from somewhere, second thing from somewhere, and then use it again. And if you look at this clone, frequency of this as a problem is 9 maximum. Number one problem people have seen is when whole of the text has been, you can see, has been copied. And this is the most problematic, also more frequent also. Cloning is the most common kind of plagiarism that has been seen. Then Control C, you can see the frequencies number at level number 2. And what you see here is the red indicates the same words, but you can see some of the words have been replaced. This will be called as Control C. Find replace, text is same. Some of the words have been replaced by alternative words. And all these are unacceptable. Remix, you can see now this is the original part. This is something new. Some old text is also there. So this is a kind of remix. And we have different versions of the recycle, almost something like what we saw in Control C. Then hybrid, some top line is from original source, bottom line is from original source. In between, I've added something that would be remix. Mashup, you can see mixing is there now. There are 2 sets which were from original source, 2 sets from so almost kind of overlapping terminology that we are using. And 404 error is when I'm given a wrong source of the original site. That means I've replaced it with the wrong citation. Aggregator, again, is somewhat kind of same. So taken 2 sources, mixed up that. Retweet, somewhat kind of same, but title is changed. Most of the text is almost same. That only thing you see is title is more broadly changed. So we need to, so why we are talking about plagiarism is we need to tell the students so that they also should not be copying. If you go to US universities, they will check all students' assignments, run it through the softwares and analyze that. And some of the freely available softwares within India is this Urkund, which is now given by Ministry of Education. There are others, for example, Turnitin. There are some free ones, WriteCheck, Copyscape, and Viper. There are a few more. And whenever we are writing something, this is one of the requirements nowadays for any thesis, any paper that is published, that we should run our own plagiarism check before we submit the article. And Turnitin is a paid one. Urkund is one which is free, and they use a database for which they will go and match up. This I wanted to run a tutorial where I wanted to show a file that has been uploaded onto the Turnitin site, but I will not go into those steps. I will talk about maybe one more. So you can set the metrics when you're doing the Turnitin. So you can decide how much similarity can be excluded. For example, here it has been said default is 1% similarity in words is excluded while we are carrying out this Turnitin. Or you can define the number of words, something like 6 words, 5 words. This is something that, but better is to always go with default settings. And once you submit your article, it will give you a report. This is the initial when you submitted the article. And after you submitted the article, it tells you how much is the kind of similarity in this article. If you look at this picture, it says 10% in this particular case, and 10% is kind of acceptable. And this is the scale that is used. For example, above 25% is what is not acceptable. So this Turnitin itself gives you scales on which it is acceptable. So that means less than 25 is what is an acceptable norm, and then we have to maintain that this is within that limits. And when I do this Turnitin, it will tell you my article similarities. For example, I showed you the article had similarity of 10%. So it shows you 2% is similarity with one of the sources, 1% with another source, and likewise it will tell me all the sources. And some of this could be my own published work from the same thesis, which I can exclude because the paper has come from the same thesis. So this is even trying to tell you this, the color coding is also there. So that means this green is, I can match up with the green here and know the source of from where this similarity has been shown. So based on that, I can edit and check my text and before I publish this. And you can do this full source matching of the text that I told you earlier. And if I'd say whatever I wanted to tell you was there are so many digital tools that we can use for researchers. I've just talked about two with you. One is reference manager and other is the similarity check softwares, Turnitin, and there's another one, Urkund. I would say you can maybe write 2 pages and then run these softwares. If anybody needs help, we can run a tutorial some other point of time. And there are other softwares, for example, developing images, and there are other softwares for writing text also, which can help enhance that kind of capability. But in interest of time, I've just touched upon 2 of these, and with this, I will end my talk today. And if there are questions, most welcome.
Yes, participants, is there any query related to the research? You can ask to, sir. Yes, anyone? I think, sir, you have beautifully explained the different areas which are related to research, and we'll surely try to incorporate all these, because you have given wonderful explanation on the digital resources and the tools which are being required for the researcher, how to carry on the research, and particularly how we can target the good journals, which can certainly improve our H index, I index, and the process of writing and building the article. So, sir, we'll try to incorporate all the suggestions which are given by you into our research publications. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, now I request Principal Dr. Ajay Sharma, sir, to share words and the vote of thanks.
Respected Professor Rajat, Professor Naveen, it is a delight to learn from you. We have gained a lot of insights on how publication is done. The basic idea of inviting the persons from the science stream to the commerce was that every one of us is talking about interdisciplinary research, and there is a great synergy which is possible if the different disciplines join. And somewhere we, from the person of the social sciences, commerce in particular, feels that there are a number of concepts which are coming up from the sciences, and we are not practically trained on that aspects. But now when you are talking on these issues, we feel these things are very simple, and we can learn a lot. Somewhere as the administrator, I number of times feel that there are certain issues which the colleges, the administration need to address. Like if you want to have a qualitative publication, we require to have access to the digital resources, to have this reference manager, to have the access to the Web of Sciences, or even to the number of software which we are just going to start, like SEM or so. So while promoting research, we have to ensure to provide faculty to a researcher the basic access. Last workshop which we were having last week, the Delhi University teacher was sharing with us that they have provided the access by the university to all the teachers and research scholars also free of cost. The Madam Pooja Garg was there who was explaining this entire system. The number of insights are coming. And hopefully with your all contribution, with your all blessings, we will be in a position to create a research culture in the colleges also, particularly the small colleges like Shri Aurobindo College of Commerce and Management, because size helps you to provide the facilities also. But once you are having a smaller number of the faculty, it has more benefits and certain problem attached to that. but certainly it was a delight listening to you, and we will be soon trying to prepare a research policy for the college, and I will request you to give the inputs that how we can provide the research policy in terms of what we were talking about, motivating the faculties, having quality research publication, providing the quality infrastructure, and so. So I'm indeed thankful on the behalf of the management, faculty, participants. I'm thankful to you. At the same time, I would like to welcome Professor Ajay Chauhan, who is waiting for his turn to. Sir, I know we are late little bit, but the session was so interesting that we decided let it continue. Thanks a lot, sir. Madam Robin, you can continue.
Thank you, Professor Rajat. Thank you, Dr. Naveen, for joining us in the this 1 week FDP on quantitative research. So surely we'll try to have your views in the future, and we'll try to incorporate that. So we have amongst us the main resource person for the day, Dr. Ajay Kumar Chauhan. He's the founder and chief consultant in Research Shiksha, having 20 years of experience in academics and industry. We welcome you, sir. The area of specialization includes qualitative and quantitative methods, business statistics, quantitative finance, and business analytics. He's a visiting faculty in with MDI, IMT, IIFT, and NIT. Earlier, he was associated with IMT Ghaziabad as a full-time faculty for 8 years. He's MSc in mathematics, MBA finance, and has also done his PhD in finance. And sir has published 25 international research papers, including ABDCA category and B category, and he is also the author of 3 books. So, sir is a statistical consultant and mentor, and he has conducted more than 1,000 national, and that's quite a big number, sir, in national and international training workshops on the topic such as financial econometrics, time series analysis, machine learning uses R and Orange, and structural equation modeling, which is also the theme of our 1 week research, and panel data analysis, business research methods in many reputed institutes of India, in IMT Ghaziabad, in UGC academic staff colleges, IIFT, and many more. So without taking much of the time, because all the research scholars and the faculty member, they are waiting for your guidance on the structure equation modeling. So over to you, sir.
So thank you very much. I think I am audible, visible.
Yes, sir.
Clearly?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yes, sir.
So thank you very much. I'm going to start the session today. And the agenda of today's session is to discuss the basics of the structural equation modeling and the basics of the partial least square software. So I'm going to present my slide. So this is a team is slightly new to me. I need to know from where I can share my slide.
Yes, sir. There is a button of arrow, top arrow in the right hand side where there is camera and the mute unmute option. So if you will click here, you can get the screen #1 desktop or window. So you can click any one and you can share your window, sir.
Okay, enter full screen. No. Show device setting. Okay. So I think now you can see my slide. So please confirm, are you able to see the slides?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, great. Yeah. So today the agenda is to discuss the basic aspects, and I will do one exercise also on smart PLS software. So
Sir,
let
can
me
you
start.
bit zoom your screen, sir? थोड़ा सा
Yeah,
उसको.
I'm zooming.
हाँ जी.
So I think you can see the full screen now.
Yes, full screen visible now.
Okay. So in the research, there are many things which are quantitative, like we collect the responses from the respondent with the help of the statement in the questionnaire. So first thing which we should know, that what is the difference between the items and the constructs. In structural equation modeling, we most of the time we are having the factors, and these factors are measured with the help of the items. And what are the items? Items are the constructs. Items are the statements which we take from the literature review. We we do the literature review carefully and find out the variables which they are measuring, and sometimes we also find out the keywords. So what are the different keywords they are using, and then we can use these keywords for these statements. We can convert the keywords into these statements. All these statements are uh, helps in measuring the construct. Like here you can see that the financial incentives is one of the construct, and financial incentives is measured with the help of these 5 items. The case which I want to discuss today, this is a diagram, and ignore the color of the diagram, red. In this diagram, we are having a perceived work quality. Perceived work quality as a dependent variable, dependent construct. And it is represented by 6 items. So you can see that there are 6 small rectangles here. All these 6 small rectangles are the items. Items mean the statement which we include in the questionnaire to measure. And PWQ, PWQ2, these are known as the item code. So we assign some item code to the statements, and now PWQ 6 statement are measuring the perceived work quality. Similarly, we are having the financial incentives. The company is providing financial incentives to the company, to the employees, and there is a career growth within the organization, the work climate, and the interpersonal relationship. And all the four independent constructs, they are supposed to have impact on the perceived work quality. So this diagram I'm taking from the from a PhD. So this is already submitted, so no problem is there. And in this diagram, these ellipses or these circles are known as construct, and they are measured with the help of the different items. So I hope you are having clarity on the items and the constructs. Then we have two concepts. One is the formative construct, and second is the reflective construct. Formative constructs are those constructs which are forming the construct. Like for example, if I am asking you from where the financial literacy comes. This is financial literacy is very popular concept nowadays, and financial literacy is coming from three things. For example, one is the knowledge, and second is the behavior, and third is the attitude. So all the three things leads to the financial literacy of a person. So this construct is a formative construct. Formative construct. I'm giving another example. Suppose I want to know that why people drink, right? I want to know that why people drink. So there are many reasons of the drink. Maybe to celebrate, to happy, sad, and so many other things. Or it may be a habit of that. So these are the different reasons why the people drink. So this is a formative. Now, if I ask you, then if people drink, how they behave? After drinking the alcohol, how they behave? Now, they talk too much, right? Like this. So these are the outcomes of the construct. In this construct, we put the arrow like this. these arrows are coming from the construct, and we are joining the items. So this is a this is a reflective construct. So this construct is a reflective construct. Reflective constructs and the formative constructs, these are the different type of constructs that we incorporated in the diagram. Okay. Now let me ask you some questions here. For example, the health. Health is a construct, right? Now, can you tell me which type of construct it is, formative or reflective? So let me call it mental health. So we specifically talking about the mental health, right? And I'm writing three things here: that the exercise and the happiness and the good friends. So these three: exercise, happiness, and friends. So which type of construct we are talking about? Whether this construct is a formative construct or whether this construct is a reflective construct. If the construct is a formative construct, we have to put the arrow like this. It means if you do the exercise, mental health will come. If you are happy, it will lead to mental health, and if you have the friends, it will lead to the mental health. Now, if I assume that it is a reflective construct, then I have to put the arrow like this, and then I am saying that if you are mentally healthy, then you do the exercise. If you are mentally healthy, then you are happy. If you are mentally healthy, you have a lot of friends. So now the question is that which kind of construct it is. And believe me, there are so many things which makes you confused, because if you think, sometimes you feel that it is a reflective construct, sometimes you feel that it is a formative construct. So which type of construct it is, we have to decide. There are two methods of deciding the construct, whether it is a formative or reflective construct. There are two methods. One is a technique called confirmatory tetrad analysis. Confirmatory tetrad analysis is a technique which is available in the PLS software, and this technique assumes the null hypothesis that the construct is a reflective construct, and on the basis of the probability value, we will decide whether we should reject the hypothesis or accept the hypothesis. So confirmatory tetrad analysis is one of the beautiful technique in PLS. But believe me, here we are having two problems. The problem is that suppose the theory say the construct is reflective, and your data is saying that the construct is formative. So now we are having the problem that whom we should follow. Should we follow the theory or should we follow the software? So there is a dilemma to adopt the software versus theory. So which is more accurate, which is more relevant, we have to decide. And if you apply your common sense, you can identify that data may be wrong, because now you know that how respondent gives the responses to your questionnaire, but theory will not be wrong. So most of the case, we have to go for the theory, we have to follow the theory, we have to ignore the software part. Software only suggests whether your data is supporting the theory or not. And the second method is called literature review. And literature review, we assume that it is a theory, because a good published paper will count as a theory. Because they examine the hypothesis, they arrive at a result, and this is published in a good journal. So to some extent, we have more weight. We should provide more weight to the theory as compared to the software, because software, if we that in the software, if we put garbage, the software will also give the garbage. So garbage in, garbage out. So that because of that problem, we should give more focus to the literature review. And software is a supporting system, so it will support, it will tell you whether your data is supporting the theory or not. Okay, now I hope you are having clarity on the formative and reflective construct. And in case if you have query, you can ask in between. That is not a problem. Now I am explaining the zero order construct and the second order construct. Okay, let me explain some of the construct to you. This is one of the diagram. In this diagram, each construct is measured with the help of some items. This is measured of these items. This is measured of these items. So these are the different construct, and these constructs are measured with the help of items. So all these constructs are known as zero order construct. Zero order construct. However, if I show you like this construct, so in this diagram, the work stress and the work-life balance, these work-life balance and the work stress are very popular nowadays in organization behavior. Everybody is talking about the work-life balance and work stress. So the theory say that work-life balance is coming from consisting of four things like WPS, SLW. These are the four construct. These are the different construct which are representing the work-life balance. These are presenting the work-life balance. So this work-life balance is a second order construct. Similarly, work stress is a second order construct because it is consisting of different construct. So this is the concept of second order construct. I can show some of the more construct, second order construct to you. Let me show some of the, like in this case, you can see that this is a one of the paper where this human skills consist of two things. Intangible aspects of the big data analysis is measuring with the help of two constructs. Tangibility is measured with the help of three constructs: data, technology, and basic resources. And tangible resources is one of the second order construct, which is consisting of the data, technology, and basic resources. So this is a second order construct. Data is a zero order construct. Tangibility is a second order construct. So we are having a different kind of construct like this. And so I am handling more than 50 projects at this time on PLS. So these are the different constructs. This is okay. In this case, I'm just showing you digital marketing, because in one of the project, the research question is that why the companies are adopting the digital marketing system. Why the companies are adopting the digital marketing system. So here in digital marketing, you can observe the diagram of the arrow are opposite. So it means which kind of construct it is. Digital marketing is which kind of construct, formative or reflective. So if you understand my lecture, you can tell very easily that digital marketing is a first order construct, zero order construct, and it is formative in nature. So these are the different type of models we are handling in Smart PLS. So let's come back to the slide again. So we have discussed top 4 points. What is the difference between the statements and the constructs, and what is the formative and reflective constructs? What is zero order construct? So this is a zero order construct. What is second order construct? I can show you the second order construct. Let me show. Okay, in this diagram there is no second order construct. Then we okay, up to 4 points I think we are clear. Now there are mainly 3 type of constructs. One is the exogenous construct, one is the endogenous construct, and another is the mediating construct. I'm explaining to you with the help of this diagram. In this diagram, if you see this diagram, digital marketing is an endogenous construct, because we want to understand that the adoption of the digital marketing practices depends upon what factors. So these are the different factors which are causing the adoption of digital marketing system, digital marketing practices. So digital marketing practices is my endogenous construct. and all these constructs are exogenous. All these constructs are exogenous. Similarly, let me show you some of more diagram. This is one of the diagram. Okay, let me show you the complete model. In this diagram, the top management performance is the endogenous for these four, but it is also influencing the low carbon performance. So in if you see the model carefully, we are having four exogenous construct like green procurement, green logistic, regulatory framework, green product design. All the four constructs are exogenous. All the four constructs are exogenous. Sustainability, sustainability society, sustainable manufacturing. These are endogenous construct, and top management performance and low carbon performance. These are mediating construct because they comes in between. They comes in between, and mediating constructs are those constructs which comes in the between. So we are having three basically kind of construct in the diagram. One is exogenous, means independent. One is endogenous, which is dependent, and one is the mediating, which comes in between. Okay, so I think we have reached up to this.
Sir,
And
there is one query
yeah, please.
from Nazia Gera, that can the same construct be both formative and reflective? And would it depend on the items we choose to measure the construct?
Yeah. So in many cases, I found that the same construct is treated as a formative and the same construct is treated as reflective. Actually, it depends upon the context. So what context we are using. Suppose I want to know that what causes the organization stress. Suppose I want to know that what are the different factors causing the organization stress. Then there is a formative construct. And if I want to know that how if a person is suffering from the organization stress, how it reflects, how he behaves, then this is a reflective construct. So in some cases, the same construct, even the service quality construct is treated in some paper as a formative construct, and in some cases it is treated as a reflective construct. So it is quite possible.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Okay, now we are having we understood up to the endogenous construct. Endogenous construct is the dependent, exogenous is the independent. Again, we are having two type of models in the structural equation modeling. One is the measurement model, which is for assumption testing, and the second type of model is a structural model, which is used for the hypothesis testing. So measurement model is used for assumption testing, and a structural model is used for hypothesis testing. Measurement model In measurement model, we examine the reliability and validity of the scale, and in a structural model, we examine the hypothesis. Measurement model in structural modeling is known as confirmatory factor analysis, which we can do in MOS. In PLS, we can do it, but in a different way. So I will show you how to calculate the assumption testing using a measurement model in PLS. In PLS, we have to make the model in a different way, or even in the structural model, in the presence of a structural model, we can also run the measurement model. So we can do the same thing, analysis of the measurement model and analysis of the structural model in the same diagram. Now we are having the four things left, which because I am explaining all these things because we have to use all these things frequently in the workshop. Now there are four things: inner model, outer loading, outer weight. So what are the meaning of these? So let me go back to the diagram. I am showing another diagram here. Let me show. Okay, in this diagram, we are having two type of models. One is the inner model. The arrow you can see between the constructs, like management effort to employee improvement. This arrow is a part of inner model. Similarly, the arrow which you can see the from management effort to the organization performance, this arrow is also known as inner model. So the arrows between the construct, the arrow between one construct and second construct is known as inner model. And the area where we are reporting the items and the construct, items and the construct, items and the construct, this is a part of outer model. So we are having two type of models in the diagram. One is called inner model, which is between the construct, and second is the outer diagram, which is between the construct and their items. And whatever number you have seen in the inner model, these numbers are known as path coefficients. And whatever number you can see in the diagram on these lines, the arrows which are joining the construct to the items, these numbers are known as loadings or weights, outer loadings or the outer weight. So when it is called outer loading and when it is called outer weight, let me explain. Suppose the construct is a reflective construct, then the number is known as outer loadings. And if the construct is reflective in nature, then it is loadings. If the construct is formative in nature, then it is called outer weight. So outer loadings and the outer weights is very, very common in the diagrams. And okay, let me. So yeah, in this case, the this arrows which you can see between the perceived work quality and the items, if whatever number comes here, we will call them outer loading. Outer loading. Similarly, if in this diagram, that digital marketing diagram, yeah. So whatever numbers you can see on these arrows, which where digital marketing is connected with the different items. So this arrow is having the number called the outer weight. So outer weight represents the formative construct, and the outer loading represent the reflective construct. Okay, now let us start from the beginning. So I am closing this window and some more basic things from current slide. Yeah. So we have discussed the basic terminologies of the structural equation modeling, which we use in the PLS diagram, and construction item is discussed. Yeah, the endogenous, exogenous is discussed. So these are the different diagrams which we can make in the partial least square. And we will also do one exercise today. These are the similar diagrams in MOS, but if we make these diagrams in the PLS, the diagram looks like this. In MOS, the diagrams looks like this. In PLS, the diagram looks like this. Now you can see that why we go for PLS and why we go for MOS. So this is the very common question that scholars are asking, that should we apply the MOS or should we apply the PLS? So I am telling you here in what conditions we can go for smart PLS and in what conditions we can go for the MOS software.
Sir, there is one query from Pooja Mehta that can you please explain more on CTA?
Confirmatory tetrad analysis I will explain in much detail, but today is the first day.
Yes, sir.
So
right.
I cannot go for individual technique in much detail.
Right, sir. Right.
So I am just briefing the basic things, and we will discuss in detail after that.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Now the basic question is that in what circumstances we can use MOS, and in what circumstances we should apply PLS. This is the basic thing, and I hope in this aspect everyone should be clear. Number one, we know that we are using two type of constructs, reflective and formative. If you have only reflective, then you can apply both MOS as well as PLS. But if you have even single formative construct, then you have to go to the PLS, because MOS will not handle formative construct. In MOS, there is no system of handling the formative constructs. So if in the model you are having by default or by the literature review, you are using a formative construct, then you have to use PLS. This is difference number one. So I just repeat, in case of reflective constructs only in the model, you can apply, you have choice to go for MOS and PLS. But even if you are having only a single construct, which is formative, then you have to apply PLS. Number two, one of the facility in MOS is that we can apply the error terms on the, you can see there are so many error terms in the items. Like we are having the error terms on the construct also. And these error terms are very, very useful. And this is the strength of the MOS software, because in MOS, we can find out the goodness of it or explanatory power of the model with the help of these error terms. But in PLS, this is the one of the biggest drawback, that these error terms are not available. And we cannot identify, we cannot measure most of the goodness of it in PLS. In partial least square, the goodness of it is one of the problem that we can't measure. Then the another thing is that because of this reason, MOS is preferred, because in MOS we can identify that how much the model is fit, how much the model is good. So we are having some fitness indices like GFI, AGFI, RMSEA. So these fitness of indices we cannot calculate in PLS. So it is one of the drawback of PLS. And the another point is that, which is the most important point nowadays, suddenly it becomes more important. Everybody is asking that whether your data is normal or not. So when you give your presentation, this is a very common question, very common question that any panel members can ask you. So have you checked the normality of your data? And I can tell you, this is the most complicated questions in the current scenario. Why it is complicated question? Because 80% of the scholars, they are using the 5-point scale, and in 5-point scale, normality cannot be achieved. It is just impossible to have the normality in the 5-point scale. So what is the solution in this case? That you are using 5-point scale and normality is not there. So what is the solution? What is the remedy? So sometimes because of the non-normality in the data set, we have to apply non-parametric side of the test. So if your data is normally distributed, then it is the must of the fulfill required condition in MOS. This condition should be fulfilled in MOS. MOS is assuming that your data is having normality, or especially the multivariate normality. But in MOS, there is no question of normality. Even if your data is not normal, you can apply the PLS software. So this is one of the difference between the MOS and the PLS normality. Similarly, another difference which I found is that if you have large data set. So what is the meaning of large data set? The meaning of large data set is that your data is normally distributed, and otherwise it should be 10 times more than the number of items. So suppose you are having 25 items in the diagram. For example, in this diagram, you can see that there are 25 items. So in this case, you must have 250 number of observations. So number of observations should be 10 times, more than 10 times as compared to the number of items. But in PLS, the beauty is that in PLS, you can have the 10 times as compared to the largest construct. For example, this is the largest construct. However, in this case, all the constructs are equal. But count the number of items in the largest construct, multiply 10 to it, and this is the maximum data you require. Like, for example, if I go for this diagram, in this diagram, the maximum construct is maximum number of item is 8 in the largest construct. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 80, if you have 80 observations, you can successfully run this diagram. Even if you are having the 80 sample size of 80, you can apply this diagram. Now, why in many cases, I found that, like for example, somebody is doing research on the outsourcing activities in the banking sector, and the scholar only collected the data of 180 observations. Now, when you are having the 180 observations, it is not possible to apply the MOS or any other software, because number of items are more. So we have no other option to use PLS. So PLS is giving you the benefit and the advantage in these kind of scenarios when you are having small data set. Sometimes, suppose you are taking the data from the top managers. Sometimes you are taking the data from the patients, which may not be large in number. So in that case, we prefer to apply the PLS nowadays, because everybody is running after the robotics, artificial intelligence, and the big data. So collecting the data from the experts related to this is not very. It's not very easy. It's very difficult. So in that case, I found that most of the papers I found in these areas on PLS rather than in MOS. Then even we are having one more some more difference, like here you can see that even you are having a single item construct. It is possible in PLS, but single item construct is not possible in MOS. In MOS, we require that at least 3 items should be there in the diagram. However, in PLS, even if you are having the single construct, you can use it. And even I read one more difference, which I never used, but I found this difference also, that even if you are, we assume that all the items are measured on a Likert scale. In PLS, in structural equation modeling, all these statements should be measured on the interval scale. But in PLS, even if some variable is ordinal rather than a scale variable, then also you can incorporate this kind of variable in the PLS. So PLS is very flexible and highly flexible software, very easy to use software as compared to MOS. In MOS, we are having a lot of limitations, limitation of the sample size, limitation of the sample size, number of items, and so many things. But in PLS, it is a limitless software. We are having no limit, and we are having no assumptions also. It is an assumption free software. So this is the basic difference between the MOS and PLS, and we should know where to apply MOS and where to apply PLS. And in PLS, whenever we apply PLS, the predictive relevance is one thing which is very important, because we know that we cannot examine the goodness of it. We cannot examine the goodness of it. So in replacement of the goodness of it, we are having new technique in PLS, which is known as predictive relevance. So predictive relevance, I will definitely cover. Okay. Now, this if you apply this structural equation modeling in MOS, it is called covariance-based SAM. And if you apply the structural equation modeling in PLS, it is called partial least square based SAM. So it is called PLS based SAM. The methodology is slightly different. So here we apply the partial least square method. In MOS, we apply the maximum likelihood estimation method to find out which is based on metrics, calculations, and the matrix is using the variance and covariance matrix. So the method is also different. So this is a difference between the MOS and the PLS. Okay. So here I mentioned why you use PLS. Reason for using PLSM: non-normal data, a small sample size, formative measures, research objective, prediction. So research objective is prediction. Complex, yeah, this is one of the difference. If your model is complicated, then it is always better to use PLSM. Even if you are having categorical variables, you can apply PLSM. But CBSM, you require all these assumptions to be fulfilled. Okay, inner model, outer model, I already explained. So this all these lines, you can see that all these lines are between the constructs. Work, context, stress is a construct. So this part of the model is known as inner model, and these lines which are representing the items and the constructs. So this portion is known as outer model. Similarly here, this portion is known as outer model. Outer model means the relationship between the constructs and their item. However, inner model means the relationship between the constructs and the construct. So the number on these lines are known as path coefficient. The numbers on these lines are known as construct loading or construct weight or outer weight in case if the construct is formative in nature. Okay. Reflective formative I already explained. Reflective formative. Now zero order develop. This is also explained. Now I am after explaining the basic terms of that we are going to use in the PLS software. Now I am taking this exercise. In this exercise, the perceived work quality is the dependent variable, and work climate, financial incentives, career growth, interpersonal relationship. These four factors are supposed to influence the perceived work quality within the organization. So I will show how to run this model in the PLS from the very basic. This is my exercise number 1 for today.
Sir, can you show the previous slide where the difference between the two is being there? Anshi Srivastava is asking. So where there was a difference.
I hope you. She's asking for this slide.
And sir, there is one more question. Yes, sir, this one. And one more question from Akshar Agarwal. That is, if the model has 70 questions, but the highest number of items in one construct is 21, so the sample size will be 210?
Yeah, but a single construct cannot have 21 items. Frankly, practically,
Yes, sir.
it is just impossible to have 21 items in one construct.
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल definitely.
Otherwise, your Cronbach alpha will be 0.95.
Definitely, sir. Yeah. Sir, we all are having a smart PLS version with us. So if you want to share any sample files with us, then I can share and then we can start the
Yeah. So
practical.
I'm sharing the file, and after that, I will start demonstrating the software.
So can you mail me? Because sir, here
No,
the
I'm sharing, Robin. I'm sharing through WhatsApp because it is very easy to share from there, and
okay,
you
sir.
can also share to the people.
Right, sir, right.
So I'm just opening within 1 or 2 minutes. I am going to share.
Okay, sir. Okay. I don't know, sir, where is the problem of Microsoft Teams, because otherwise there is always a sharing option in this chat, but it's not coming
Yes, yes,
from.
yes. Here we can also share, but
Yes, sir. It's not coming.
Robin. So I have shared the data set with you, if you can see. Now this is
Yes, sir,
the
I've received. I've received.
yeah. So this is the icon of Smart PLS, and I'm going to open the Smart PLS software. Yeah. So when you open the Smart PLS software, you will have this kind of page. So in this page, we are having three windows. This window will show you the current projects on which you are working. This is the indicator. Indicator means the items. If you download any data, you can see the data here, and here is the output. So first of all, we have to open either a existing project. These are my existing projects on which I am working, and these are the new. This is the new project. So let me open a new project. So I write Orbindo workshop, and okay. So you can see that the workshop here. I am just renaming it. I just want to put it one so that the name comes on the top. Okay, so there are so many names. One. Let me rename it once again. I want to put it 00 because I want this workshop to be in the top. So you can see that after that the workshop comes in the top, and the software is asking for the data. Here, if you double click on it, you can import the data. You can import the data only when your data is available in the .csv format. So data is you can import if your data is only in this format. So let me show you the format. The first variable, the first row must contain the name of the items, right? This is the item codes. All these are the item codes. Contain the item codes, and from the second row onward, you are having the data. This is the condition. And second, you just check, go to file, save as, and you should save as comma delimited. So we are having the comma delimited option. So save the data in comma delimited. This is the option. CSV comma separated values, and this is the format in which the data should lie. So let's close the data. Now, if you want to import the data set, just double click on it, and the software is asking that where your data is lying. So you can find out the location of the data. The data is lying here, Smart PLS data set and exercise 1. So I clicked on the exercise number 1 and okay. So once data is there, you can see all the variables, all the item codes. So here we have to check few things. Number one, if your data is 1 to 5 scale, then check the mean of the data. Number one. Number two, you should ensure that there is no missing value in the data set. So the second observation, you can see you should not have any missing value here. The mean, most of the mean I can find out is 3.6, 3.5. So in the scale of 5-point scale, in 5-point scale, the mean of 3.5 is showing me the positive responses in most of the cases. Median is 4 in all the cases. It means 50% of the observations are more above 4 and 50% of the observations are less than 4. Minimum is 1, maximum is 5. So we are using 5-point scale, and standard deviation is also given. Skewness and kurtosis is something which we should keep the eye. We should know what is the kurtosis and the skewness level of the data set. So the one of the simple things that I expect for data is that the skewness and kurtosis should be less than 1. Skewness and kurtosis should be less than 1. So I'm not expecting them to be equal to 0, but they should be less than 1 in most of the cases. Okay. So after testing all these things, we have to click on this by default diagram. If you click on this option, Orbindo Workshop, so the front page comes here. Now this is a diagram page and you can make the diagram here. So let's just, I'm showing you this kind of diagram we are going to make as a basic diagram. So financial incentive, that is FI. So let me take financial incentive from here. So you just need to select the items of a construct and drag and drop. So similarly, the next construct which I can see here, the career growth, just drag and drop, and the work culture, the third, drag and drop, then IR, drag and drop, and after that I have to take my dependent variable perceived work quality here. So after taking all the diagrams, all the constructs individually, now we have to rename it. So I just right click, rename, and type financial incentives, then CG means career growth, and this IR, let me check what is IR. Interpersonal relationships, then WC is work climate, work climate, and the final is perceived work quality. Rename, perceived work quality. So we have defined all the diagrams here. Now I have to make the right format. So normally it is my habit that I can.
Sir, can we do up till here? Can you give us a 2 minutes break so that we can make a model up till the stage?
Yes, please, yes.
Right, sir. Just 2 minutes.
Yeah. Meanwhile, I'm just beautifying this model.
Sir, what is this last one? It's perceived work quality,
Yeah,
PW.
perceived work quality.
Okay. Yes, if anyone is having doubt up till here that how we have imported the file into Smart PLS and how we have developed the model, you can write in the chat box. Any question from anyone? Sir, I think we can move forward. There is no query and everybody is up till this model building stage. I have also made, sir. You can continue.
Great. So I hope there is no problem up to this.
Yes, sir.
After that, we have to select this connect and join the diagrams. So we have to connect like this. So once you connected all the diagrams, all the constructs with each other, if all the constructs are connected, then you can run this model. Now you can run this model. So let me show you how to run this model and what actually we want to do here. So first of all, I want to do the assumption testing. The main assumption at this time is the reliability and validity testing. So let me share the concept of reliability and validity testing first, and then we will run it. Paint, let me open the paint and we can write there. So first of all, I will show you how to do the assumption testing, and I hope you can see my slide screen. Assumption testing. So these assumptions should meet. There are three assumptions. One is called the reliability. The second assumption is convergent validity. Convergent validity. The third assumption is discriminant validity. And the fourth assumption is multicollinearity. So here I am going to tell you that how to examine these assumptions. Number one, reliability is examined with the help of Cronberg alpha. The value of Cronberg alpha is between 0.7 to 0.9. If the Cronberg alpha is less than 0.7, then reliability is not there. And if Cronberg alpha is more than 0.9, then this is called redundancy. So we want our Cronberg alpha is in between 0.7 and 0.9. Condition number one. Then convergent validity is examined with the help of three conditions. Number one, outer loadings Why it is called outer loading? Because it is an outer model, and outer loading we expect greater than 0.7. The composite levelty, the second is composite levelty. Composite levelty is a average correlation between all the items of a construct, also should be greater than 0.7. And the third is average variance extracted. So this should be greater than 0.5. So these three conditions we need to fulfill if we want the scale to have convergent validity condition. So all the conditions are very clear, that outer loading should be greater than 0.7, composite reliability should be greater than 0.7, average variance extracted should be greater than 0.5. Outer loading is the correlation between the item and the construct. Composite liability is representing whether all the items are together as it taken together, representing the construct or not. And average variance extracted means how much variance of the construct is represented by the items, right? So how much variance is examined by its own items. And discriminant validity means whether all the items, whether all the constructs are significantly different or not. So their meaning should be different. The responses of respondent should be different. So discriminant validity is measured with the help of two concepts. The first concept is known as Fornell-Lurker criteria. So it is known as Fornell-Lurker criteria, and second is heterotrait monotrait criteria. So heterotrait monotrait criteria. So we are having two criteria of discriminant validity, where in Fornell-Lurker criteria, the square root of AVE should be greater than the correlation between the constructs. And according to the heterotrait monotrait criteria, so this is a ratio of heterotrait monotrait which should be greater than 0.8.
So which one is best out of two, former lacquer or heterotrait monotrait? Because some papers there is used former lacquer and in some it's HTMT. So is it optional or which one is the better out of two?
If you ask for the better option, then Fornell-Lurker criteria is better, because I have seen more than 90% of the papers they are using the Fornell-Lurker.
Okay, sir.
And some are also using the heterotrait monotrait. So Fornell-Lurker is very important, because in my all the papers I reported the Fornell-Lurker criteria, and heterotrait monotrait is optional. So if you want, you can report it, otherwise you can leave it. But Fornell-Lurker is very popular in reporting the discriminant validity.
Yes, sir. Right. Thank you.
Okay. And the multicollinearity, we are talking about the items, and it is expected that the VIF, which is known as variance inflation factor, should be less than 3 in case of the items. This is not a very strict criteria to be followed, but you must understand this. This criteria is also available in the PLS, so you can also check this criteria, that because if VIF is more than 3, it means the Cronberg alpha is more than 0.9. So the multicollinearity is reflected also in terms of in reliability also. Okay, so these are the conditions that we are going to discuss nowadays. Now, after this class, after this, and I hope if you are having any problem regarding this, I like to answer that. If any of the participant having any doubt or clarity, need more clarity in this, I am here. Otherwise, I will go for the demonstration part.
Yes, any question on the assumption testing, reliability, convergent, discriminant, and multicollinearity? So I think you have explained very well about all the four criteria.
No, actually, sometimes the scholar want to ask the mathematical background. So
Okay.
from that perspective, I ask because I normally I avoid the mathematical part because that is not required for writing a paper. But if required, then I can explain. But it is if it is not required, then we can skip it because in most of the research papers we don't need mathematics. Okay.
Sir,
Now
just
I'm
one query from Nangyali Hashimi, that any reference for the criteria of multicollinearity?
yeah, because there is a book written by Ringel, Professor
Yes,
Ringel,
yes, yes, sir.
and most of the research papers they denoted their criteria. And
Yes,
multicollinearity is so popular, then you can also give the reference of Gujarati book,
sir.
Damodar Gujarati book. You can give the reference of hair, blackened hair. So these are the popular references for this multicollinearity. Now I'm going to run it. So if you after designing the diagram, if you can go to the calculate part, calculate. So if you run on the calculate, so you can see that we are having a lot of option. We are having PLS algorithm, bootstrapping. So let me explain most of the what is the meaning of these options. And I'm not about having clarity on the three aspect, but other than three, I know what is the use. So let me explain the purpose. So one is the first is PLS algorithm. Actually, this software was originally designed to capture the models which have only formative construct. So initially, this software was made to address the problem with formative construct. So PLS algorithm, this option you can run if you have all the formative construct in the model, right? So I know that in this case, the software assume that all the constructs are formative. Then what is the result? But in this case, we don't have all the formative constructs, so this option is wrong. This option you should apply when you have all formative construct. Okay, now close it. So we are having a better version than PLS algorithm. This is known as consistent PLS algorithm. So this option is later designed, and this option, that consistent PLS algorithm, this option is available if you have only reflective or the combination of formative and reflective in your model. So for our model where all the five constructs are reflective, this option is better option as compared to PLS algorithm. So we should click on here consistent PLS algorithm if you want to see the results. So let me explain remaining options. Number two is bootstrapping. Bootstrapping option is to examine the hypothesis testing. It is basically the structural equation modeling. Uh, if you want to examine the path coefficient of these four lines and you are interested to check whether they are significant or not, then you can go for a bootstrapping process. Then we will do today. Blindfolding is the option which is used to examine the predictive accuracy of the model. So what is the meaning of predictive accuracy? So in this process, software hides some values and predict those values and then compare how the predicted values are closer to the actual values. So blindfolding is the option which is available in the this software only, and it measures the predictive accuracy of the model. And blindfolding gives you a very interesting measure. This is called capital Q square. So capital Q square is a measure of predictive validity or the external validity also. And in some papers, you can find out this value, that capital Q square. So capital Q square value come from the option of blindfolding. After that, we are having the option called confirmatory tetrad analysis. This confirmatory tetrad analysis will assume the null hypothesis that all the constructs are reflective in nature, and then we decide by looking at the probability value whether they are formative or reflective. I will also show you today. And after that, we are having the importance performance map analysis, which examines the suppose I am asking you two questions here. there are four independent variables, and these four independent variables are influencing the dependent variable. Now, which independent variable is having the highest impact and which independent variable is having the lowest impact? The answer you will get by doing the IPMA analysis. And second question, if I want to know that from customer perspective, which independent variable is more having more mean and which independent variable is having the low mean. So you can do the mean analysis of these independent variables, which this is known as importance. Suppose you can assume that these are the four subject, and in four subjects, in which subject you are getting the highest marks. So this kind of analysis we can do in IPMA analysis. PLS predict is again the option of the predictive accuracy. PLS predict gives you the predictive accuracy of the model. In this case, the software will compare the PLS model with a benchmark model, and we have to examine whether our model is good or the benchmark model is good. And it is expected that the Q square of our model should be good as compared to the benchmark. Then multi-group analysis is used for the group moderation effect. If you want to examine the moderation effect of the data of the model, then you can do it from here. So multi-group analysis is used for doing the categorical moderation effect in the diagram, and then consistent PLS that we are going to do. And the remaining three I need to read in more detail because I don't have exact knowledge of these three. And so let's go to the start. So I'm going to start with this option, consistent PLS algorithm, which is used for assumption testing. And you just go here, click on start calculation. Now you can see that there are so many options we are having here. So first let's move to the construct reliability and validity. Construct reliability and validity. This is the first option I like to click. Now I am examining my assumption, whether the assumption is fulfilled by the result or not. So we are having the Cronbach alpha. We are having the rho. Rho is substitute of the Cronbach alpha. And we are having the composite reliability, and we are having the average variance expected measure of all the construct. Now, first thing, I need to check whether my Cronbach alpha is more than 0.7 and less than 0.9 or not. So here you can see that yes, my all the Cronbach alphas are not crossing the limit of 0.9, and they are also greater than 0.7. So reliability assumption is fulfilled. My second assumption is that can I say composite reliability is also greater than 0.7? So yes, my second condition is also
Sir,
fulfilled.
please zoom. थोड़ा सा zoom कर दीजिए sir.
मैम इसमें ना zoom का option नहीं है मेरे पास.
हाँ ठीक है sir. Yes, okay.
So this is the full screen. I think you can have option of zooming in team as a viewer.
Yes sir. Full screen हो जाएगी वहाँ से. Right.
तो यहाँ से तो मेरी full screen है. Okay. So the composite reliability I want to be more than 0.7, and here it is more than 0.7. Then average variance expected, it should be greater than 0.5, and so it is greater than 0.5. So the conditions of convergent validity and the reliability is fulfilled. And in convergent validity, I also want to check the outer loading. So you can see that if I click on the outer loadings, I can see all the loadings here. And all these loadings, most of the loadings are expected to be greater than 0.7. और एक आध में छोटी सी है, ये कम है, लेकिन कोई बात नहीं, हम इसको ड्रॉप नहीं कर सकते. So we can keep this item here. So except one, all the construct loadings are more than 0.7, which is good. And if you click on the outer weight means if assuming the construct to be reflective, formative with nature, so what is the outer weight? So these are the outer weights, and you know that the outer weight are not significant, very low. So outer weight means if all the constructs are formative in nature, so what is the value of the outer weight? That is not important for us. Now we have all the values, significant values, more than 0.7 values. So my condition of reliability and convergent validity is fulfilled. Then I will check my condition of discriminant validity. So just I'm giving you some time to check in your desktop.
Sir, one question here in outer loading. Sir, what is the minimum threshold? Like in your case, you have already told that it should be minimum zero point 0.7, right? And in one variable, in one dimension, it's 0.664. So what is the minimum threshold? Can we take it up till 0.6 also?
Yeah, you can take up to 0.6 also, and if in any case, if the this value is around 0.5, then you can club this value with another variable which is having the high factor loading. इसको हम कहते हैं पार्सलिंग इफेक्ट, पार्सलिंग. तो आप पार्सलिंग भी कर सकते हैं.
Right. Okay.
पार्सलिंग मींस अगर किसी आइटम की लोडिंग बहुत कम है, तो आप उसको किसी और आइटम के साथ क्लब कर दो, मतलब उसका दोनों को एवरेज निकाल के एक नया वेरिएबल क्रिएट कर लो.
Okay. Okay.
So that is also possible, but if any item is less than 0.5 loading, then you have to drop it.
Right, sir. And sir, one question from Ashish Garg that for convergent validity, if any two conditions are fulfilled, out of the three, should we proceed further or not?
अगर होगी तो वो तीनों होंगी, अगर नहीं होंगी तो एक भी नहीं होगी. मतलब मुझे लगता है कि all the three should be fulfilled. All the three should be fulfilled.
And sir, one more question from Dr. Meenu Singla that if any of the values are less than required, then are we going to report or leave?
Actually, if you report that value, then your paper will be rejected.
Right, sir. Okay, thank you.
Okay, so in this case, we fulfill the conditions of reliability and the convergent validity. Now, if you click on the discriminant validity, this table is known as Fornell-Larker criteria. You can see that the name is written here, Fornell-Larker criteria. In Fornell-Larker criteria, the first value is known as square root of the average variance expected, and this value should be greater than the remaining values in the column. Like 0.749 should be greater than 0.692, 723, 700, 681. Similarly, this 0.783 should be greater than 683, 646, 634. 783 is greater than 697, 712. 767 is greater than 652. So our condition of Fornell-Larker criteria is fulfilled.
Sir, what if this does not come, like in the particular criteria, like if instead of 7.749 in the first case, if the third value is say greater, sir, because it has happened. So what is the reason, sir? Can you explain?
Yeah, actually, in most of the cases, this discriminant validity don't come. And why it is not coming? Because the in 5-point scale, the discriminating power is very less. Because if somebody is happy, he like to give the answer of 4 and 5, 4 and 5, 4 and 5. So discriminating power of the scale is very poor, especially 5-point scale. So discriminant validity थोड़ा मुश्किल से आती है. अगर डिस्क्रिमिनेंट वैलिडिटी लानी है तो आपको स्केल ये 7 पॉइंट यूज कर सकते हैं, 9 पॉइंट यूज कर सकते हैं. सो इन 5 पॉइंट स्केल बाय डिफॉल्ट इट नेवर कम्स.
Right, sir. And one more query from Anant Malik. What should be the range in which outer weights can be tolerated, sir? Outer weights.
आउटर वेट तो जितने कम होंगे उतना अच्छा होगा. Outer weight means all the items should not be correlated with themselves. So outer weight should not be very high. Outer weight should not be very high because in outer weight the problem is that let me explain here. Basically, when we write like this, suppose there are 3 items. So here the equation is that variable is equal to beta 1 variable plus error. you can skip the error. Similarly, beta 2 into V. Variable 3 is equal to beta 3 into V. But if we write like this, so construct is equal to alpha plus beta into item. And in this case, if you put alpha is equal to 0, then beta is representing the correlation between the construct and the item. The correlation is between the construct and the item, right? And in formative, the another concept is that all the items are not responsible to form the construct. Suppose this is stress. So do you think all the reasons are required for stress? Like for example, if you have financial problem, if you have health problem, if you have another problem, so other problem. So do you think all the problems are required for having the stress? No. Even if you are having any one problem, these two problems may not be there, but this single reason is sufficient to have a stress. So this is called formative construct. In formative construct, the correlation between these items should not be very high. So that's why there is no criteria of these numbers outer weight. Outer weight should not be very high. They should not be correlated with each other. However, in reflective, these should be highly correlated. So correlation is something which differentiates between the reflective and formative construct. Okay, and let's so in this case, I hope the Fortnite-Lager criteria is clear. And then we click on the heterotrait monotrait ratio. Just see the graph. While if all the graph are the green, then there is no problem. If any graph is red, then there is a problem. And if you click on the table, you can see all the values are less than 0.8, less than 0.8. So according to the criteria, we are not having any problem in the discriminant validity. So this is the heterotrait monotrait ratio.
Sir, any suggestion for how to rectify if formal criterion is not satisfied? Because you told that it should be on a 7 or a 9-point scale instead of 5. But sir, if one has already made the questionnaire on the 5-point Likert scale and this condition is not being satisfied, is there any chance to improve it?
वो डेटा मैनिपुलेशन करना पड़ता है.
Okay, sir. Right.
तो थोड़ा सा डेटा को ही चेंज करना पड़ेगा, अदरवाइज और कोई सॉल्यूशन नहीं है. और मैंने देखा है कि सभी लोग डेटा को ही थोड़ा सा कोशिश करते हैं ठीक करने की. Otherwise we are not having any justifiable solution. After that you just click on the हमारे पास यहाँ पे एक वो आता है collinearity statistic VIF. So if you see all the values are less than 3. So we are not having any problem in collinearity also. All the variables are less than 3, and so we are not having any problem of collinearity also here in the model. So collinearity is not a problem. All the collinearity between the construct is also very low, and collinearity between the items is also very low as required. So this concept is called the assumption testing. So I have shown you all the assumption testing. Now I am telling you something more. If you click on the R square, you can find out the R square of the model. R square of the model, basically R square always comes for the dependent variable. R square always comes for the dependent variable. For the dependent variable, R square is 0.597, which is quite good. And we are happy with this R square. Then model fitness, if we are having only 2 model fitness here, एक SRMR, which is useful, and then is an NFI, which is useful, and all the 3 are not standardized, so we cannot check this. If you want to report the goodness of it, you can report the SRMR and NFI from here. NFI value should be greater than 0.8 and SRMR should be less than 0.08. So both the conditions are fulfilled here. No, not a problem. NFI की वैल्यू 0.8 से ज्यादा होनी चाहिए और SRMR की वैल्यू 0.08 से कम होनी चाहिए. That so both the conditions are also fulfilled, and chi-square, DG, DULS are not standardized. So I never checked all these values. The SRMR and NFI is fine. और मॉडल सिलेक्शन क्राइटेरिया में आपके पास कुछ क्राइटेरिया होंगे, बट लेकिन ये क्राइटेरिया को हम बहुत ज्यादा यूज नहीं करते. So we are having Akaike information criteria. We are having this Henan Quinn criteria. This BIC criteria. इनका लॉजिक सिर्फ इतना है कि AIC criteria and the Henan Quinn criteria should be less as much as possible. If you are comparing 2 or 3 models, the model with the minimum value of these criteria are considered to be the best. So this is the criteria, and path coefficient we reported normally by bootstrapping method. We don't see path coefficient. Basically here the path coefficient is showing you the total effect, and because here there is no mediating variable, so total effect and direct effect are same here. Indirect effect are 0 because we are not using the mediating variable. So total effect and path coefficient, you can see they are same because there is no mediating variable between the two. Outer weight I have shown, outer loading bhi bata diya, latent variable, these are the latent variable. Latent variable correlations is given, and these correlation we have also seen in the discipline validity. Residuals are the error terms. So this is not much important because we cannot conclude from here. So these information in this information, the construct liability and validity is very important. Discriminant validity is very important, and collinearity diagnostic you can report, model fitness you can report, path coefficient. These 3 things comes in the mediation effect, and outer loading we need to report. We have to report the outer loading in the paper, and I think that's it. So I hope you are having clarity on these results. If in case of any problem, I'm there.
Yes, sir. There is one query from Pooja Mehta. Could you please re-explain the threshold values for the model fit, that is SRMR and NFI?
Yeah. So first is the SRMR should be less than 0.08. It is actually a badness of it, and the lower it is, better it is. Lower value is expected. Lower value is expected. And the second value you are asking for, NFI, normative fit index, and it is a goodness of it. Goodness of it, its value should be greater than 0.8. So these 2 criteria we fulfill in the PLS.
Yes, any other question up till here in the PLS algorithm? So we can continue. There is no query in the chat box.
Okay. So let us cross this. Now, after examining the assumptions, then we can go for the hypothesis testing. Hypothesis testing is more important. Before going to the hypothesis testing, I'm just show you that this is the R square. All these values are path coefficient, and these are the construct loadings, outer loadings. And these values we can also obtain by doing the bootstrapping process. In the bootstrapping process, we want to check whether the path coefficients are significant or not. So let me do the bootstrapping process. In bootstrapping, the software is asking you that how many subsamples you require. How many subsamples you require in the diagram. So normally here we find out that 500 is the by default subsamples. Some people do it on the 2000. like you can do it for 2000, but problem is that it will take a lot of time, so I'm not doing it on 2000. Otherwise I have to wait a lot. And even I want to do it 100 for saving the time. So there are two options here. You can see that basic bootstrapping and the complete bootstrapping. If you do the basic bootstrapping, you will get only 4 results here. You can see that you will get only path coefficient, indirect effect, total effect, outer loading, outer weight. And if you click on the complete bootstrapping, you can get all the results again. So these results will come in the complete bootstrapping. So let me run it. Let's try to go for complete bootstrapping. So in complete bootstrapping, the benefit is that so many results are coming. You are having a lot of results there.
So
So
is it the
probably
result will vary as per the
no,
subsamples
no,
if
no,
we
no.
take more?
No,
Okay.
result will not vary.
Okay.
So you can see that because it is a bootstrapping, so minor change will maybe there, but not much. So you are having the path coefficient, and we can see all the p values are significant here. So you can see the path coefficient here also, and these values, I think they are the t values in inner model. You can change the t values in the p coefficient and p values. So here we can say that all the cause and effect relationship are significant, and these values are again t values. You can change these values, loading and p values. So all the values you can see now clearly. They are all significant. And if you go to the results, we are having a lot of results here. Even you are having the SRMR value. The SRMR value, but 0.05 is a no problem value. It is no problem because it is expected to be less than 0.08, and we are not having DULS, DUG. Okay, R square is 51%. Adjusted R square is again 51%. F square I will explain tomorrow. And AVE of all the items are given to you. So these are the AVE of each construct you can see. And all these values should be greater than 0.5. Then we have composite reliability of all the values. So slightly higher in this case because of the increase in the sample size. And rho Cronbach alpha you can calculate again. And so I explained all the things already. And go to the diagram. Now diagram is showing you that all the values are fulfilled, all the assumptions are fulfilled, and all the hypotheses are also significant. So you can present this model in the paper. So we have completed the exercise number 1, basic things. And now I'm giving you 5 minutes to 10 minutes just to repeat all these things again, and then I will go to the further.
Yes, everyone, we can repeat all the steps of bootstrapping, and we have 5-10 minutes, and then we can again raise our queries.
I will show you one or two steps more.
Okay, sir.
But before that, I'm giving just 5 minutes for everybody to do practice. In case of any problem, you can ask.
Good afternoon, sir. This is Pooja Mehta from Aurobindo College.
Yeah, Pooja.
Sir, there is one little query regarding collinearity diagnostics. In one of my papers, which I had sent in some paper, in some journal, I had simply reported that the VIF values of all the items were less than 3, so the collinearity was there was not problem of collinearity. But the answer which I got from reviewer, the one of the comments was that you need to show the values. So is it? I mean, there is something benchmark thing or thing that you have to show all the values also every paper.
Basically, collinearity values are not very important values to be reported. And
Yes, sir.
but if reviewer is asking you to report, then you have to report it because it is a subjective criteria.
Okay, okay. So
And
it is not
you cannot,
compulsory for every paper.
no, it is not
Yeah,
compulsory
yeah,
for
yeah.
every paper, but it depends upon the reviewer, you know that.
Yes, yes, yes. That I understand, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
So there's one question that what if the outer weight values are negative?
Outer weight values are negative is having no problem at all, because if you are having formative construct, then if one of the outer weight is negative, it only indicate that that item is having negative correlation with the construct. So if theoretically, if it is justifiable, it is fine. Otherwise, you can leave it.
Mhm. Right, sir.
Hmm.
And this is for the information of everyone that tomorrow the session will be from 10 to 1. I have written in the chat box also. Yes, is it fine, sir, Ajay sir, from 10 to
Yeah,
1?
yes.
Okay, sir. Okay. So one query from Priyanka Agarwal. Please explain the steps for hypothesis testing again.
Yeah. So we are having two steps. So number one, you can go to the calculate and go to the consistent PLS bootstrapping. This is also one option. And if you go here, you can see the same results and all the path coefficient. These are the values of path coefficients, and all the path coefficients are found to be significant. Here you
Sir,
can see that.
screen is not visible, sir. So please share it again.
Okay, let me check why it is not visible. Uh, okay, so I hope it is visible.
Yes, sir. It's visible.
Let me do it again. Okay, so suppose this is the result. This is diagram. You are having two options of hypothesis testing. Number one, you can go to the bootstrapping, and you can do the basic bootstrapping. If you do not want much results, so you can see that results are limited. And again, I'm showing you another step: complete bootstrapping. In complete bootstrapping, you can get more results. Yeah, now you can see that you are getting the results. So these values are the path coefficients: 26, 17, 23, 17, and this is the sample beta. So we have to find out the original beta. Standard error means the possible error between the in the beta. T statistic, if it is more than 1.96, it means the impact is significant. If T value is less than 1.96, the impact is not significant. p-value all found to be significant here, showing the significant effect, and all other values, if you want to see the path coefficient in total indirect effect, direct effect, so all the values you can see here. And you can run the same method by doing this command, consistent PLS bootstrapping. Even if you run this command, you will get the same result. So you can see that you are getting the almost same result with this option also. So all these results are giving you the result of hypothesis testing. So code calculate bootstrapping, PLS bootstrapping. So bootstrapping is a process of hypothesis testing provided in PLS software. Yeah, any other query?
No, sir.
Okay, so after this, I'm also showing you two more things. PLS algorithm, start calculation. So we are having the values of R square and F square. So I need to explain you what is the meaning of R square and F square. Okay. Now, basically, there are two things. One is known as the explanatory power of the model. And the second is known as the prediction power. Of the model. Explanatory power of the model is identified with the help of R square, adjusted R square, and the F square. The prediction power of the model is estimated by the Q square and small q square. So we need to understand what is the explanatory power of the model and what is the prediction power of the model. So let me explain the explanatory power first. Okay. So explanatory power, the first value is R square. The R square is known as coefficient of determination. It should be greater than 50% in PLS model, and it explained that how much variance of y can be explained by the model, or by all independent variables taken into consideration. Then adjusted, we are having the adjusted R square. Adjusted R square is the R square adjusted by degree of freedom. Right. So adjusted R square is playing a not very important role in PLS. However, it is very, very important in regression model. But adjusted R square is replaced by somehow by F square here. So I will explain you what is the meaning of F square, because it is a better substitute of adjusted R square. So I am showing you what is the meaning of F square. Suppose I have this model A, B, C, and A, B, C are explaining the let's say X, right? So now I want to know that how much the C is contributing to the X. I want to know how much C is contributing to the X. So I will run the model in two ways. Number one, I will run A2X and B2X. Then I will run A2X, B2X, and then C2X. I will note down the R square and the R square. This R square is known as R square excluded, and this R square is known as R square included. When C is in the model, what is the R square? This is called R square in. and I will also run without C. This is known as R square X. So then I will calculate a formula that R square in minus R square EX upon 1 minus R in square. I need to check this formula. This is known as F square. So F square will tell you how much this C is important to the model. How much C is important to the model. Now, what is the criteria of F square? Let me explain. The F square is telling you the importance of independent variable in explaining the model. So it is having three criteria, that 2 to 15%, then 15% to 35%, then more than 35%. So if it is between 2 to 15%, it is low explanatory power, it is moderate explanatory power, and it is very high explanatory power. तो हम जब एफ स्क्वायर को निकालते हैं तो वो कैसा आएगा, देखिए. Let's go to the model. Run consistent PLS. And now we can get the value of F square. तो आप देखिए F square हर independent variable का निकल के आ रहा है. So all independent variables are giving you the low explanatory power. इस मॉडल में हर independent variable का जो explanatory power है वो low है. So on the basis of the F square, we can say that all the independent variables have low explanatory power in the model. मतलब अगर आप इसको निकाल भी दोगे, अगर आप किसी वेरिएबल को निकाल भी दोगे तो आर स्क्वायर बहुत ज्यादा कम नहीं होगा. So it means even if you remove any of the independent variable from the model, there is not much decrease in the R square. So is should also be reported when you are reporting the R square, because F square will tell you that how much each independent variable is important in the model. So that is one thing. And the similar concept we are having in PLS also, IPMA. So let me show you what is IPMA. Suppose I want to know that which of the independent variable is having more effect on the perceived work quality. Like if I compare the beta, I know that career growth is having the highest beta. So can I say the career growth is having the highest impact on the perceived work quality? So I can confirm by doing this IPMA analysis. And in IPMA analysis, you need to define what is my target variable. Here we are having only perceived work quality. And after that, if you click on this calculation, so you just see this map. In this map, path coefficient are exactly same. In this map, this is known as information performance map. This map should be reported in the paper. In this map, you can see that the red is having the highest effect, followed by the green, yellow is the third, and blue is the fourth. मतलब अगर मैं आपसे पूछता हूँ कि भाई अगर परसीव्ड क्वालिटी पे सबसे ज्यादा किसका इफेक्ट है, तो आंसर है कि रेड वाला कौन है, कैरियर ग्रोथ. सो यू कैन सी दैट द कैरियर ग्रोथ इज हैविंग द हाईएस्ट इफेक्ट ऑन दिस, फॉलोड बाय ग्रीन का सेकंड हाईएस्ट इफेक्ट है, और येलो इज द वर्क क्लाइमेट का थर्ड हाईएस्ट इफेक्ट है, और ब्लू सबसे पुअर है. लेकिन अगर हम मीन चेक करें, सो इफ वी कंपेयर द mean of the perceived this blue is the highest, yellow is second highest. Mean में बहुत ज्यादा difference नहीं है. This is the first highest, second highest, third highest, fourth highest, but we can see them in the straight lines, so not much difference in terms of the importance. So this analysis is also known as IPMA analysis, जो हमें F square के parallel में same result देती है. Okay. Now, similarly, if you run the CTA tetra analysis of mathematics, I will tell you tomorrow, but I'm just demonstrating this, how the result of tetra analysis will come. The tetra analysis will show you whether your construct are formative or reflective. Okay, so like for example, you can see that I am having five construct in the model. Let me go to the career growth. In career growth, if you see all the p values, so count the p values whether they are high or low. For example, in this case, 1, 2, 3, 3. So out of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So in 14, only 3 people say that it is formative. Rest of the people say it is a reflective. So we will assume that it is a reflective in nature. फाइनेंशियल इंसेंटिव को देखते हैं. फाइनेंशियल इंसेंटिव को 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 पांचों लोगों ने नल को एक्सेप्ट किया है. ऑल दी 5 केसेस वी आर एक्सेप्टिंग द नल. इट मीन इट इज 100% रिफ्लेक्टिव. इसी तरह से आप इंटरपर्सनल देख सकते हो. इन इंटरपर्सनल 1, 2 out of the 5, 2 are accepting that it is okay, it is formative in nature. 1 and 2, in 2 cases it is formative in nature, and in 3 it is reflective in nature. तो 3 की मेजोरिटी है तो उसको रिफ्लेक्टिव मान लेंगे. परसीव्ड वर्क क्वालिटी 1, only in one case the p value is less than 0.05. Only in one case the p value is less than 0.05, so it is 100% reflective. Work climate p value देखिए, all p values are more than 0.05, so it is definitely the reflective in nature. So CTA will give you the option of testing whether the construct is reflective or formative. Okay, so from today, from my side is over, and now I'm here to handle the queries. If you have any query, please ask.
Sir, can you brief little again about IPMA and CTA? Just it was a bit fast, so some steps.
Tomorrow I will run in much detail. Today
Sir,
I just show you what
the
is
graph
the
was
concept.
not coming, sir. This diagram which you have shown with the dots, na, sir, it was not coming. I don't know why.
Can you show your screen? I will
Yes,
check.
sir. So here, IPMA.
Yeah.
Then this perceived work quality.
Yes, very good.
Then start calculation. Then, sir.
Click on the first graph.
Where, sir?
ये क्वालिटी क्राइटेरिया में ही पहला नीचे नीचे और ये वाला. हाँ.
Okay, sir. Right. Thank you.
So here you can see the impact of different.
Right, sir. Yes, any other query by anyone?
Sir, regarding this IPMA and F square and CTA, sir, are these things to be shown in the paper always?
I had a lot of discussion with the people, and CTA is not required. CTA is not required because whether the construct is formative and reflective comes from the theory. So with respect to CTA, reporting is not compulsory. F square you can report because it is a similar to square, and will explain the importance of each independent variable in the model. So you can report the F square. That is a good thing. And IPMA you can report. Why I'm saying this? Because in most of the research papers, it is an obvious question that which independent variable is having the more effect and which is having the more mean also. So IPMA analysis will give you the answer of these two questions, that which factor is having the highest effect on the dependent construct, and which independent construct is having the highest mean score.
Right, sir. Right. Sir, there's one more question. Regarding F square, am I audible? Hello?
Yeah, please.
Yeah. Sir, if this F square comes out to be moderate or low, and R square is, you can say, around 60 to 70% or 50 plus, then can we assume that if this F square is coming to be low, then it is good for the model? I mean, there will be no problem in dropping this variable or something. Please explain
No,
this.
actually, in my data, I know that there is a lot of the correlation between the construct is very high.
Yes.
Right. Actually, I know this because I'm a mathematician, so I know that. And because of the high correlation between the construct, and this is another kind of multicollinearity.
Okay.
So because of this problem, even if I remove the construct from the diagram, the R square will not drop, right?
Okay.
But in case if my multicollinearity is poor, means all the independent constructs are really independent,
Okay.
then the F square is found to be very high.
Yes. Okay.
So
Okay.
if you have clarity up to this level, then you can decide that what to do.
Okay. Okay. So you are saying if R square is good and F square is also high, uh,
No
I'm
effect.
stuck, I think. Yeah, then there's no effect. That does mean?
No, actually, when the independent constructs are highly correlated, then even if you remove one construct, there is no change comes in the R square.
Yeah.
Right. So the same case we have seen in this example. But if suppose I have a model where the correlation between the construct is low and R square is high, in that case F square always comes very high.
Okay. Okay. Got you, sir. Yeah. Right. Thank you, sir.
So may I ask one more question?
Yeah, please.
So like we just talked of the F square, we also talked of IPMA, and then there is beta also, that path coefficient also. तो सर व्हाट इज द डिफरेंस आई मीन जब हम कहते हैं कि पाथ कोफिशिएंट अगर मान लीजिए 4 इंडिपेंडेंट वेरिएबल्स हैं उनमें से अगर जब हम देखते हैं कि पाथ कोफिशिएंट इसका हाईएस्ट है इसका या लोएस्ट है कैसे भी तो उससे भी पता चलता है हमारे को कि किस वेरिएबल का या किस कंस्ट्रक्ट का डिपेंडेंट वेरिएबल के ऊपर कितना इम्पैक्ट है एफ स्क्वायर भी कहीं ना कहीं यही बता रहा है हमें कि आउट ऑफ ऑल द 4 इंडिपेंडेंट वेरिएबल्स किसका स्ट्रॉन्गेस्ट इम्पैक्ट है और किसका वीक इम्पैक्ट है या मॉडरेट इम्पैक्ट है इपमा भी कहीं ना कहीं यही बता रहा है तो सर फिर बेसिक व्हाट इज द डिफरेंस फंडामेंटल व्हाट इज द डिफरेंस अमंग दीज थ्री
देखिए रिप्रेजेंटेशन का डिफरेंस है so the formula of all the three things are different. Path coefficient is only telling you the correlation between the one independent construct and the dependent construct. And the R square is telling you that how much variance of y can be explained by all construct taken together. और f वैल्यू ये बताती है कि अगर इस कंसेप्ट को निकाल दिया जाए तो आर स्क्वायर में सिग्निफिकेंट ड्रॉप होगा या कम ड्रॉप होगा तो चीज वही है लेकिन उसको कहने के तरीके अलग हैं तो इसीलिए जैसे हम क्राउन पे अल्फा भी रिपोर्ट करते हैं कंपोजिट लायबिलिटी भी रिपोर्ट करते हैं उसके बाद हम कंस्ट्रक्ट लोडिंग भी रिपोर्ट करते हैं ये भी तो एक ही चीज है लेकिन रिपोर्ट तो सारी होती है
राइट सर
तो इसीलिए ना हम ये बात है कि हम देखिए स्टैटिस्टिक्स मींस व्हाट स्टैटिस्टिक्स मींस एविडेंस so you have so whatever conclusion you are drawing so what evidence you are showing so if you are showing the good evidence so it means you are strengthening your point
okay right sir
so that is
right
the thing in statistics so the job of the statistician is to provide the evidence of the hypothesis
ओके दैट मीन्स कि हम एक फाइंडिंग हमारी दूसरे को करॉबरेट कर रही है सो हम
Yeah.
एविडेंस इन
कर
सबको
सकते
यूज करके हाँ राइट ओके ठीक है राइट सर थैंक यू सो मच सर
हैं yeah.
Yes, any other query from anyone? So I think, sir, we should call off the day. And sir,
Okay, so great. So tomorrow we will meet at 10 o'clock.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Tomorrow we'll meet at 10. Definitely, sir. So, okay. Thank you, everyone. See you tomorrow, all. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you.
Thanks.
Okay, sir. खत्म ही हो गई।